Nazis playing Chamber because there have to be changes in the team because it doesn't work. But hey, let's just jump in straight in. Wow. Okay, so Bind is banned by FPX. Meg bans Haven, no surprise.
Yeah.
Pick first is Ascent. Okay, well, that's and then Breeze. And oh my, this is gonna be an interesting match. So on Breeze, I expect a Euro, right? But when it comes to Ascent, let's focus first on Ascent. Ascent for Meg. The last time they played this composition was Astra, Jet, Killjoy, KO, and Sova.
This is when Vincent missed that week of big getting a map. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah. And I didn't like the Astra pick, right, on this map. Is one of those maps when you need the recurring power of the Omen, most likely, or the explosiveness of Brimstone, specifically because of the playstyle that this team represents.
It's overall, I very much remember week one when Kakuka was standing here and she was saying, this is not really the creative Mac that we expected after such a long pause, and their compositions were not that creative, not that new, not that re-evolving. So let's see what they will do about that Ascent, as it's Chronicle going for that duelist role.
Okay.
Well, it's already different. It's already very, very different. What do you guys make of
Wait,
this?
Defo is playing...
Yes, it's really, really different.
This is like...
What?
Mats is on the chamber.
Yeah, all right.
We talked before, right? There's so many changes here. I like the composition. The entire composition is like feeling like an actual team. There's a lot of synergy between the Fade and the Raze and the Omen alongside the KO as well gives the information. So there's so much denial of space and also of utility. It's actually pretty strong. And on the side of FPX, they play the same composition that they played last time. The Sage is, I would say, the weak point of the composition.
I think it worked quite decently in their previous match versus Fnatic, but if it works against Mech, is a different story.
Well, this is not just a fight for survival, guys. You know, this is also a fight for a spot at Masters 2. I can't wait to see what they got cooked up in here. Over to you, Tom and Mitch.
Well, it's certainly going to be an exciting one, Tom. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But what's on your bingo card this time around?
Oh, I don't know. It's a tough one to call. I'm leaning slightly towards FPX, but honestly, I think all we can do here, Mitch, let's let the players do the talking. Let's get into the server.
Well, we've seen the players, Tom, and well, we've certainly seen the agent. Now we get to see the map. We dive on in 30 seconds on the clock before FPX are going to mount this attack. And when we come on to this map, it's obviously where FPX chose to start the battle. But Mech have decided to start this one on the defense. So, I mean, logic says we should see the numbers go in their favor to start this one off.
Yeah, historically, they were a team that were always fantastic at this map because of their defensive side. A lot of the time, that was enough for them to get things over the line. FPX, on the other side, a little bit different. Like, their attack side executions have been superb, and they've proven it time and time again that they're very difficult to play against with all of the different ideas they've had. Now, of course, massive change of composition for what's on the other side for Mech, maybe, in an attempt to try and counter what they expect to be coming. But I will say, versus FPX, that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, look, you can do it in theory, but in practice, it's a very different game. FPX on their way towards the B site. It's a retake play. Nade through on the slow. This could be big, but a little late in getting that pull through, so nobody is seized. They're going to be able to cross over to this B site, wall off spawn, and a plant. How is that wall? Is there a small gap in it around the right side? It was placed through a smoke, and yes, there is.
Yeah, well, more importantly, they can just get on top of it with the box anyway. I guess that's something that they'll be a little wary of, or at least I hope they will be. Managing to already find the opener and Ardis, well, it took a few bullets, but he's got the job done. Nats will be there to trade things out. Of course, one of the big changes they made was putting this man on this agent a little bit more, allowing his individual skill to shine, but he's going to lose his pistol.
Only for a couple of seconds, though, Tom. It's going to be back up in just a moment as they blitz in towards the side. Zipbat holding strong, but they know where he is. So dealing with him seemed difficult. Angel 50 HP on the back of the site, but time, it's so low. And Angel delivers that final blow, confirming the first round for FPX.
Yeah, again, similarly to what we saw in the first map from Fnatic in the last series, ideas good from Mech, timing just a little bit off. If that Seize came in earlier, I think it either catches a player, or even if they both throw the utility just a little later, but it was almost just a gamble and then an attempt at the retake that, honestly, I think came a little bit closer than it probably should have done with the openers that FPX were able to get. Even still, though, strong start garnered. Now, we know that a lot of these sort of second-round buys from FPX have been fairly dangerous in the past. They've been not really buying into the Spectres, but this time, a couple of rifles, a couple of Spectres, and then, well, just Angel saving.
Yeah, it seems like they're happy to play this one in sort of a middle ground of what's been there in the past. They've lost Artis right away. And is that one of the rifles that went down?
Yes, I believe
He's
it
just
was.
got one
Yeah, Rekka's
down.
got it.
Oh no, this is I mean, this is horrendous. They've put a rifle in their enemy's hands.
Yeah, and it's in Chronicle's hands now. If it couldn't get any worse, they've managed to get it into the star player's hands. So this is not going to be an easy task for them anymore. And the thing is, when you buy in with rifles, the whole point is you've got to keep it clean. You definitely can't afford to lose any of them. The swing out, though, and Xiao, well, he's saved the day here. He's managed to drop the rifle, drop a second player. Angel, yeah, cool. Good, cool. Out of all the things that you could have done there, that was the least reasonable one.
Jumping classic them. Oh my. One more kill here would be huge. Oh, no weapons to be dropped. So look, that was about as terrible a start as I could have imagined. You know, 2 rifles bought, one of them lost right away. It's already a disaster. Then it's in the hands of Chronicle. It's really a disaster, but luckily they won that duel. And really, that's what it comes down to. If they do not manage to hold on to A main, if the kills, you know, if Chronicle comes through, finds a frag, they've got the control, they can pincer in, and they've got another rifle to play with. The round could have been an absolute disaster.
Well, because Angel didn't buy as well, they basically lost.
They lose nothing.
Shields.
Yeah.
That's it. They lost shields. So it actually ends up as like the best possible scenario for FPX, even though things went as badly as possible at the beginning.
Yep. They have certainly come out of that one smelling the roses, and well, a second win granted to them, a serious opportunity. This round here, seeing 3 rifles. I love that Angel doesn't buy it straight away, plays the eco, then buys the rifle after. It's just less risk in the previous round. Rifle's not having an easy time. Nats has picked off Zip, and Angel had nothing to say. And with that, Mech can now just sit back and relax.
Artis has managed to take control of A. It seems like, again, this is just a position on the map they're willing to give up. The problem is the spike's actually making its way through short instead. So Shados has a real opportunity here, especially with a single flash remaining, but already going to be denied by the wall. It doesn't matter, though, because Defo's found another.
Xiao's not got the ideal weapon for that fight. Spectre on range. That's eking out. Happy to challenge the whole team by the looks of it, and Angel's just come up big. The site now, there's a smoke down to cover the plant. Cover down short and actually gets Zagetsu back into it. He's playing inside the smoke, ready to blitz out after, but they've wall banged him down. Spike dropped 15 seconds and a swing into 2. Heavy traffic waiting for them. Look, it's a win for MacTom, but they have also lost quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a weird scenario because I feel like the way that FPX play into these sort of bonus rounds is not like any other team. They come in with rifles, so you kind of give the other team a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt when they close out the round, but ultimately the scenario is the same. They now come in with a full set of rifles. You're already having some financial issues along the way, and if they win this, you're screwed. So yeah, Mech really have to hope they get something done. By the looks of it, they're going to heavily challenge for the orb, but look how ready their opponents are for this.
Oh, Nats turns away from the flash, but still caught. Chronicle away. Okay, at least they've managed to trade it back, put it even. Puts FPX in a bit of a back foot utility, clearing out up close. But you know, Mech are postured for this now. They're reset into this hold. So it would have been crazy if FPX just ran into A side, right? Tried to take that space back. Instead, they popped the res, reset the round, and put themselves in an advantage now. It's going to run the clock down a lot, though, taking back that map control that they've given up.
They're
Almost
trying to bait a rotation. That seems to be the plan. Just hoping that somebody will push, hoping that someone will go looking. They left Zipan in the corner ready for it, but there hasn't been any sort of move. The problem is Chronicle is a bullet or 2 away from completely going down. He'll slow them with the nade at least, but now left paranoid, marked as well. Sure, his teammates have managed to get into position, and even more completely blind. Shados has found one. The thing is, Redguard gets absolutely nothing again. Angel with a high impact kill, and well, it's looking dangerous even still. Spike dropped. Defo versus Angel. Well, Defo knows that he can almost just wait for this plant to come through.
With the ult, Angel could be set to TP to the B side as well, a choice, but he has to make it now, and it's to stick to A. No time to go anywhere else, no time to even stop the plant now. He has to commit fully. If Defo can catch a spray, it could be huge. He's got the reveal. Oh, but he can't catch him. Angel's around the other side of the generator. Defo, though, still delivers the blow and takes the round for Mech. They are holding on to this.
Yeah, and actually, so the early aggression there from Mech was basically Nats either has nothing or he has a tour de force. So we might as well go for something stupidly aggressive to try and get the tour de force. And then the trade is absolutely fine. The thing that really puts a spanner in the works is actually the res. But even still, they somehow managed to trade this quite effectively. I think it's Defo managing to get far more than he ever should have done, with some of the aggressive swings coming out, and also just these sort of aggressive flashes through. I think it's one of the reasons why having like Shados on a KO is incredibly exciting, because you see how manic and aggressive he can be on a Sova, for example. Well, give him a player that actually has flashes, and wow, he could do a lot.
FPX are kind of... So they're stuck on the other sides here if Mac continue to fight for mid. Mac have just smoked off mid themselves. Nats grabs a double from Wine. I mean...
I have a TP to escape. Will I use it? No.
Not a chance. So, right. FPX start that one out. They look for a little bit of control. They try to take A main. They were coming across to short. I'm not sure what Mac smoke. Like, they smoked themselves off of mid. They've done it again now. The Getsu's coming up through it and just taking that kill. Although Redguard is able to, you know, trade it back. He's actually got the spike.
Yeah, almost seems like they just want to play around this utility. Horn gonna clear them out, but it's giving them these close range battles. Lovely shot to the end from Shadow. So again, it doesn't matter so much, but I feel like that might be a slightly better setup if it wasn't against an eco.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because the players are coming through B Link, because they're taking late fight on A main, those are both extremely ranged fights. I mean, the guy holding mid as well, though, is playing with a Spectre. It was Redguard right from bottom mid. He's playing there with a Spectre. So I guess he's smoking it off because he doesn't want to play that very long range. They're not actually fighting for mid control. They were giving it up completely, obviously having Wine, then having B main. So it's an interesting call to play the extremities in that round when you do have some chances to take ranged fights. Maybe respect for the Chamber. No respect for Sagetsu as he falls right away. FPX lose out on their Sage. And that's going to be a problem, especially if you're looking towards ultis all kind of being online. You'd love to have that res to pick up the player. Of course, it was used up a little while ago. No charging.
I wonder if, I'll be honest, like the way that Mech are currently playing this defense, at least in my mind, does sing true to a fairly direct counter to FPX, because FPX A-side execution is wonderful. Like we've seen it utilized by so many different teams, that sort of sees into the door combination to give them the space with the fragment. Well, they're not letting them do it. They're not letting them get A main. They're just pushing it every single round. Nats is still sticking around, and Xiao. All right. All right.
Out as clean as can be on that swing. They've got space, but they still have to deal with... Well, they've dealt with Chronicle. Shados on the other side, not going to be able to pop a flash just yet. And, I mean, that was his whole play. That was his idea to deal with this round. Artist's in trouble with the Classic, as he's dealt with. The numbers equalize up a little bit. Now you've got the forces meeting each other as well. Mac have regrouped, and this now gets extremely scary. And Nade to buy them a little bit of extra time. Mac can still get in here. Still got some utility to burn up. The flash baited out now as well. They have got to pick up the pace though, Tom. They've got to get in there pretty soon if they want to be winning this one out.
Initial flash gets them a little bit of ground, but they haven't spotted Zipan on the cross. Takes one for free, trade out, but yeah, the clock really is ticking. Angel, Xiao combined to shut this down, and FPX, well, they're going to win it anyway. And this is the thing that I feel like, firstly, Mecha, one of those teams that really don't want to give back ground. Like, okay, we took A main, we want to keep it, which I kind of understand, but with Nats already low on HP, it definitely had a huge risk about it. Like, they could have just taken the man advantage instead. On the other side of things, I feel like a lot of those aggressive ultimates that were used there from FPX is something that I don't necessarily think they're going to be able to recreate. Like, you had yourself, I think it was a late round use of Nightfall. You also, I think, had the tour de force at the beginning of the round, and you had Zipan actually shutting down all the utility, which, as you mentioned, was a lot of the plan for them playing defensively. So now I almost need to see FPX actually build off of this, because so far they are losing a lot of those almost early battles with just how aggressive Mecha willing to be.
That's a switch up to the B play this time. TP into backside. Angel's actually completing it as well. Now in a bit of trouble though. Blast back not enough as Angel still connects the shot, and Xiao capitalizes on an attempted flank from Redgar. FPX are absolutely picking them apart. Even catching one from on top of the wall was Sugetsu. This was all little nasty picks. No conventional play here from FPX. Catching the flank behind, TPing the boathouse to win a duel, being on top of the wall and B main. Little ratty positions, little ratty plays, and they all work out for huge value with a near flawless round, leaving Shados on 13 HP. I'm not even sure he can save. They've heard him running to the A side at this point as well. It looks like they want to fully hunt him down.
Yeah, why not? Especially after managing to sort of get your economy in check. There's huge value from just taking away this weapon. Like, Mecha not in a good spot for that. And while there is only few places that this man can be hiding, they have cleared out almost everything else. Still wary that he's gone just all the way back towards the spawn, which is probably one of the only other places he could be. Seconds, he half checks it. It's 2 free kills. They're just throwing some of these players down. Surely they have to kill him off now, at least. Otherwise, that really would have been expensive.
Well, at least indeed they got him at the very end, leaving Mech. Let me just take a glance at their scoreboard in absolute shambles. And they've got nothing on that credit side. A couple of pistols to invest into. Ain't got that ult for Nats, obviously burned up just previously. So it's going to be the headhunter play. That one was a little bit of a head scratcher, but yeah, I've heard a half clear in an angle, but I'm not even sure that made it.
Actually got him enough that he's now invested back into another rifle. Those extra couple of kills just put into a few credits in his back pocket. Hats is going walkabouts though. You can see the default. This is a very passive default other than the B control. Like, one player all the way back towards mid, one player all the way back just holding any sort of a main push. They are very wary of what Mech are currently doing. The thing is though, this crossfire is actually kind of nasty. Like, Redgar almost waiting. Nats is dead. Like, if he even gets one here, it's an absolute miracle, especially after his teammate fell. And you know what? There you go. I'd say that one kill made it worth it.
Yeah. Oh, quick trade as well. It was a very fast connection by Artist, but Chronicle was right on him. Look, some seriously good damage has been done, and rifles have been recovered. Showstopper in play for Chronicle. This round isn't over yet, and Sugetsu realizes that. So the res to give them at least twice the manpower. But even then, a good gamble from Mech could ruin this all. And Tom, you take a look at that mini-map. Mech are on the way. Chronicle is now joining the fight on the A site. They're about to get information just outside. There's 2 players at least. That's going to... Oh, never mind. I was thinking maybe that's where Chronicle pops it, but he wasn't expecting the player short.
No, again, I feel like when it comes down to just impact kills in this game so far, I'm looking at Xiao and I'm looking at Angel. Like, the amount of times where Angel's got into the site, got a 2K, even though he dies afterwards, they get into an afterplan. Or even just that singular kill that could have made the difference on the cross. Xiao as well, just like a couple of rounds ago, clearing out the aggressive position of Nats. It's just been irritating to play against the 2 of the longest standing members all the way back from the Party Parrots, and you can kind of see why they've stuck together all this time.
The question is, will Shados be able to find massive value this time? That might just ruin his chances. They now know exactly where he is. They've got players coming from every angle. He's made it to Pizza. He's taking a slice out of Angel at least. Flash here to try and re-peek through. Maybe he can survive the round. He can just get away, and he's caught on the corner. Unlucky. No weapon for Mech this time.
Shados definitely has like some of the sharpest aim you're ever going to see. Like, it's so ridiculous how easy he seems to find it to just correct off a couple of bullets that don't hit, which is something that I think a lot of people basically say, oh yeah, don't do that with a Vandal, but somehow still makes it costly. The danger here, though, is basically what we spoke about before. When we talk about FPX, we talk about how strong their attacking sides can be. When we talk about Mech, it's the defense. It's been the defense even when they won a championship. Like, they could lose an attack with like 2 or 3 rounds. You're like, it's fine, it's Mech. The BS meter's about to go off the charts and they're going to win it. Well, right now, the best they can get is 7. And I am not feeling confident, even with the changes going into their attacking half. Of course, Chronicle, I think, likely to have much more impact there, but at least as of right now, I think FPX are firmly in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I do think that we have to look at what Lothar brought up on the desk, which is that Mech right now, their win rate, for example, on maps, you can't look at it and say, oh, but look, they're great. They have a great map pool, because we're not seeing the same Mech turning up. So it doesn't matter if they're good at bind, if they don't play bind the same way, if they can't hit those fundamentals that were the reason that they were able to have such a strong map pool. And I think the same thing comes here, where I say Mech on the defense, they've always been so solid, but the ability to play off of each other and work those fundamentals is what set them apart from everybody else. And now that those things aren't necessarily there in the same way that they were before, maybe this team will be, finding a second win on the attack side or something like that. But it's certainly a worrying sign for now. When we sort of hold our breath to see that strong face of Mech in whatever form it takes. Seems like we'll be waiting a while, though.
Yeah, it almost looked like we were seeing that same execution we've had so many times towards Door from FPX, but instead they've just taken the orb and walked away. Nat's now in an aggressive position with the operator, of course, something that he's been picking up a little bit more recently, and that at least gives them some information, because elsewhere, as of right now, Mech have next to nothing. They know that mid's not been taken, of course, because of the trap that's waiting. And the knife actually going to give that space for Nats to push, but it might end up being his downfall. There are quite a few players waiting on the other side.
Well, it looks like Xiao's about to grab some information. He's been doing this almost every round. At least he knows that Nats is there. And now he knows that the site is mostly clear. Not the back of the site. They could be boathouse. They could be in the alley. They could be on the bottom of stairs.
Back?
Off the back of seeing absolutely no
Look
one
where the
here.
spike is.
I guess
There's
reading
20
a retake.
seconds.
What?
They've got to run. Like, they've got to go somewhere roundabout now. It seems like they're leaving it so late in this move. Shados has caught one. Nats, if he can get anything off this cross, they could have actually closed out the round. But even in the last few seconds, FPX are going to be able to make it to site. It seemed like there was so much that could have gone wrong there. Even if just a single player was within B, it could have gone wrong. But they've got the read right.
You got to remember, they didn't clear out boathouse, right? Not at the start, because that ult I'd only covered the front of the side. So there could be someone who had snuck the way past, who had thread the needle. A big gamble, but look, a big recovery. Now they still have to deal with the retake, and Mech have got plenty of players. 5 versus 4 on the way back through. A lot of angles to clear, burning up some flashes. Shados still has one to play with, and that's pretty much all their entry ability on the way back in. It's caught Chronicle, and now he's dead out in the open. Trades are coming through. Mech not falling apart just yet. Angel's the only man left to deal with. It'll be down to the clock. Oh, wow, that is close.
Yeah, and you think about how clean they really needed to be on that retake for them to take that round home. It does seem quite gambly from FPX to go in there, but after seeing Nats TP out of there a multitude of times, I guess they were just confident in that clear. But yeah, it's surprising how sort of late it got into the round, with them sort of waiting in mid for sort of aggressive plays to come through, forcing them off with the ultimates, and even sectioning out players. The thing is, Mech really needed that round, because in terms of ults, they're now nowhere near, and on the other side, you do still have yourself a null command, which we've already seen used very well in terms of an ASI execution.
The cross complicates things for Nats a little bit. Has to cover
Knife,
the corner
he's
now.
trapped.
Oh, there's the nade through. He's
trapped.
suppressed a little longer, and it's just long enough. Zipan on the double. Oh, that was huge. He couldn't even hold him on the way back out, because they're able to get out and curl that utility, because he's worried about the guy in the right corner.
Oh, it's brilliant. They basically used, rather than using the standard knife where you just basically throw it at a wall, they had a knife lineup that went over the top, landed deeper, and then trapped Nats. So he couldn't actually TP out of there anymore. His utility was offline, and then you see Zipan come back to throw the nade to clear him again. They expected that aggressive play. FPX just on another level at the moment, and well, that aggression just got shut down so easily with a few pieces of utility.
And literally the Shrouded Step, the sound cue of that from Angel gets him so paranoid about the right angle, he can't hold left anymore. As I said, that's where that gap is. Zipman to just come out and go, I'm gonna throw my nade right there, and then just hold it for him to swing. Really, just so well handled by FPX. Mech, not a chance of taking that one. 6-4. This defensive side certainly leaving a lot to be desired. And as we said, with this being where Mech chose to start, being where Mech historically put up figures. And I guess with being FPX's map pick, you can only imagine that second half ain't gonna be that weak.
Yeah, I think the worry as well is that the next map is Breeze, which Mech have looked good on, of course, but the composition from FPX is a wild one. Like, it's something we've spoken about teams, was Ascend, really struggling to play with. So Mech going to want to put up a little bit more competition here. Of course, still a chance to bring this back, but if I'm being honest, Mitch, 6-6, I don't think that's enough. Like, I think they'll have to show a lot more on their attacking side than they ever really do on this map. Like, bear in mind, like, this is a team who managed to get 3 rounds on the attack versus Big.
That's a huge achievement right there.
Yeah, all right, Zesh.
Nice shot. Nats with 1. He's still going, man. Being tagged up like crazy, but of course he's got the best chance of really packing a punch in this round. Left down to just some weaker pistols now. No headhunters. Still a sheriff on defo. And Shanos has a shorty. He's just been tucked in on short this whole round, and I think that's where he plans to stay.
Yeah, the thing is, again, FPX in the default, looking comfortable. Every peak being waited and watched for. You can see, look where all 4 players died from Mech. And that, I think that's the thing that makes this round a little bit more infuriating. There was never a chance for a trade in any of those fights. It was always individual peaks. And it's like, well, if you've got 4 players in mid, swing at the same time, you're probably going to get more than 1 kill. Instead, okay, Nats, it's your turn. You go have a little look around. All right, now I'm going to take a peek. It's like, especially in rounds like this, take risks, take gambles, but do it as a team.
Gun here.
Here we go, Shadows. Oh, he's going to keep going. Unlucky. I like that he stepped back as well. You know, just really swing that angle wide. And I'm just going over to B-Link, try to catch him on the way through, make him die to Spike. 4 rounds, defensive side, it's just not enough. Macker showing us, you know, some flashes of individual brilliance. But we're missing the unit for now. Operator for Nats? Okay, I am intrigued. He's bought an operator when he has a tour de force, and it is the last round.
Yeah, I've heard of a double op setup, but not normally.
Sorry, Chronicle's gone
yourself.
light shields so that he can have this off, by the way. Up against the KO, the security.
Seems a little bit interesting. Artist is going to get taken down early, though. We've seen the same TP across, but ultimately this time it's a completely different setup. Already. They're looking to try and reclaim this control. Not something they want to give up. Now, bear in mind, a combination of a null command, maybe throwing from the shadows to take this control. And they've even set up a one-way of their own to almost try and give them that extra space. Instantly, though, nade thrown in. There's no more TPs, but unfortunately, it isn't quite deep enough to kill off Angel. He can still survive in the corner.
Artist has been brought back. That's canceling out a little bit too late with the res, and they're out of there. Angel still tucked in the corner. Of course, they don't know that he can be here, but now they've smoked it, so that information not really as valuable anymore. That was a connection. Xiao is down, but nothing else. Nats maybe getting a little bit over-aggressive on that mid-peak, Tom. We got the numbers equalized up.
Yeah, it's every round. That's the Nats play from this game so far. I will peak, I'll get a kill, and then I'll die. And again, I feel like a lot of other chamber players have that reposition, have that switch up. But Nats has not done that throughout this game so far. It's been really disappointing. Crossfire, though, is nasty. Chronicle, alongside Shados, there is no way into this site. You're hoping for a lot from Angel here. Well, I feel like you need to let go of the shift key, if I'm honest, Artist. There is 5 seconds left. All right, I guess not. Fair enough.
He's going to kill all 5 of them in heaven. Big save for the next half. Yeah. Obviously a little bit of a misread on the timing or play for post plant, and then they don't manage to plant.
Either that or just Artist was like, I've got 10 seconds, there's no way I'm getting to the spike and killing everyone, so let's just pad the stats a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, when there was 10 seconds left, it was clearly too late. It didn't matter. But yeah, I think overall, there are some interesting rounds going down, Tom.
Yeah.
On mech, I really did not enjoy that half from Nats. I didn't think I would. See, the thing is, he's getting success in early fights. Probably if you look at his stats, I don't know what his opening duels are going to be, but I think they're probably very positive.
His first kills are probably good, but it's just like, if you looked at second kill, it's him every round.
Yeah, if you look at traded percentage, it's 100. Yeah. Like.
Well, let's see. Can Artist do it better? He's already going to be forced out by the nade. In fact, this is a very fast-paced take, almost the opposite of what we were seeing from FPX. Slow, controlled. Zipan, though, he's taken 2 heads in a matter of seconds. His IGL wraps around the corner, and DAY4, he's trying to find where he's gone. He's not going to be able to. Zipan just destroys them this round. 4 kills in the pistol, the exact start that FPX needed.
Yeah, look, 8-5 now. Mech kind of being left in the dust. And I'd question coming into this round, I'd be surprised if we see them go in for the force, but Zipan dominating them like that. I mean, the man nearly aced the round. They were so distracted trying to hunt him down. Redgar was like staring at him, had no idea where Angel was. You know, having to give up this 9th, it really sucks, but I think Mech are making the right choice, just going in for a couple of pistols, see what damage they can get done.
Yeah, Zipan's gone for a rifle. Man is looking to try and farm up, potentially get to his ult. Have that null command ready. Artist under pressure. Are they actually going to get 1? Angel falls as well. Again, already maybe a little bit more costly than they would have liked. Bear in mind, a few of the players had weaker weapons, but Zipan didn't. That's a rifle on the floor now, Mitch. It's happened again.
I can't believe it. Zipan even played that well. He flashed into main, baiting them. Then to the player on short swings to try and help his teammates, right? Then he's flashed. You can swing in on the fight, but even still, the fight was won. Nats stepping up in this round. You got a reveal coming through, not finding all too much. Mech are just tidied away in these corners, waiting for FPX to walk through. They're letting them make the mistakes, letting them give the game away themselves and run that clock down as much as they want. Another reveal confirms both players are left side. That should be a cleanup from this point forward. Nats even sidesteps the C's.
It's just not enough time or even enough bullets for Xiao to really get anything done here. Nats just holding the angle. 4 kills from him in this one, and I guess it's the second time we've seen this now. FPX, they have a rifle. It gets put in a high-risk, audacious position. It doesn't win the battle. One time they get punished, one time they don't. And unfortunately for them, well, they were basically setting themselves up to almost run this one straight through after a fantastic first half. But ultimately, this play from Nats, who, as we sort of mentioned, had a bit of a weird first half, has put Mech right back in to this map.
Yeah, look, if ever there was a recovery to be sought, that's exactly what you want. Oh, smoke still gets put out. Just a second before the suppress comes in. Oh, yeah, but a little bit too quick, though. It's actually missed the lineup for the one-way. And then done that. So that mid-peak, not great, but Artist recovers it. Of course he does.
Yeah, nasty shot. He needs to do so much more, though. And Redgar, well, elevated angle. Maybe not expected. Saigetsu goes back for more, though. One of the only weapons really invested into this round is in his hands, so they're going to need to see a little bit more of that magic from Saigetsu. The thing is, though, if there's ever a time where he steps up, it's when they go into the defensive half. He's so good at holding angles with that one-shot gun. The problem here, though, B site is very much open. Xiao, he might have just jiggle peeked a little bit of information.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's actually seen Nats, though. That's the thing. Nats definitely has the info. I don't think that Xiao does.
The timing of that could be everything, and yeah, Nats has managed to get by. They do pick up the rifle on the way through, at least, though. Zipan pathing his way through short, so he's got a Vandal to work with. So maybe a chance.
Spike planted.
It was just the sheriff that they dropped, right? So could have been worse. Although then looking at these positions, you know, 3 players back boat, I'm not really sure what you can do about this as FPX. At least if that knife is online soon, 10 seconds, they'll spot that potentially. But I think there's going to be a fight before that even happens.
Oh, chance for a little bit of damage, forcing them to swing, but Defo, someone who's had a quieter game thus far, stepping up when needed. Mech will stabilize into this next round. 8-7. This is where we should see the investment coming back in on the other side. Zipan yet to get that null command. Baron only got 4 kills in the pistol, but the impact after that was minimal. I think both have been earned from deaths. Can they get that ult online? It would definitely be a difference maker on the other side of things as well. Nats already getting himself a tour de force. As we said, he's already had a fairly big turnaround in this second half. And that's the thing. Playing Chamber on attack, it can be pretty difficult. But if he's popping off, we know that Nats can be that difference maker.
Knife's not going to catch him. It does clear market, and there's the smoke, so they can seize this space pretty much immediately. But look at the response on the other side. FPX leave Artist tucked in that corner. You've got Angel spamming through, looking to grab this late, play off the contact of his teammate, and maybe spam the wall on. He's jump spotting it right now, actually grabbing the information. No paranoia to work with. Already used up. Mech are definitely feeling out the right space by pushing slowly up through mid. They want that peak. They want someone to step over the line and give them the shot with the tour de force. 50 seconds on the clock, though, Tom. I think Nats is going to have to carve his own space.
This is something we saw from them quite regularly, is this slow mid-control, but it garnering anything, well, it was almost reliant on a mistake, and you can see the position currently being held by Artis. He's got a way to just get straight out of there after taking the initial duel. A bit of an off angle as well, but they expect it. He's done some damage, but maybe not enough. And now it's going to come down to mostly Xiao.
Yeah, he actually rotated back in here off the contact of Artis, heard the steps, and he's hearing a whole lot more now. 15 seconds left as they come in. 1 kill, and that's all that will be found. And now the Nightmare to cover the plant. They've even caught a kill on the way back through. Advantage now sits with Mech. 7-8. They look to equalize things up and leave FPX with no money. This could be the lead back for Mech. Way right back into this map. Impressive recovery. They took down all in different positions, but they can swing into a triple peak. FPX are... Oh, what is that? He's caught him through the smoke, but 2 more to deal with.
Oh, I'm getting a little worried. Saigetsu brings it to 1. But Redgar is going to be the rock at the back of the site. Just make sure he doesn't get too much more. Both shots utterly ridiculous from Saigetsu. But again, it isn't enough. And now financially, FPX are in a spot where, okay, some of the ults are coming back online, but not ones I really believe are going to help them in eco scenarios. And oh, I think that the idea with the flash is a nice one, but it didn't quite do anywhere near as much as they were hoping for. And well, the afterplant again was very, very good from Mech.
You know, it really just feels like Mech right now, they don't have too much of a problem when they're the ones that get to sort of control the game. But they can be made uncomfortable so easy on the defensive side. The rotations that are being pulled, the pressure from FPX that ends in explosive takes, they couldn't seem to deal with it unless they had like a really good stack on a site, for example, or the right utility still available. But there were so many moments where Mech just fundamentally looked lost in that first half. And yet now when we swap over, everything has changed. It's worlds apart, where all of a sudden you're actually seeing these guys like even Nats is the best example. I don't think he had like solid impact in any round on the previous half, any full buy round where he's doing his normal job of taking mid, having those fights, and swap over to this half and he's single-handedly like carrying them across the line in some rounds.
Well, early knife trade is just going to garner a little bit of information. You've seen Artis, of course, like you might be thinking, okay, he's bought quite a lot into this one, but tour de force available in the next round. It's perfectly reasonable. He's going to try and do some damage. And again, we've seen him in some pretty nasty spots over the last couple of rounds. This time, aggressively deep into short with his TP all the way back towards the spawn. The thing is, though, Mech are incredibly patient. And this is something I think we've criticized them for in the past, is their attacks can be so weak because they play these defaults so late into the round that sometimes the time bites them. In fact, a lot of the time it does. So the fact that FPX are playing this so passively, and as I said, the only aggressive angles that they've really got are based on being able to escape very easily. The fact that there really hasn't been much map control taken just yet from Mech does leave me a little worried already.
Well, they've cleared close mid, but moving up through short, still have to deal with Artist. There's one, and he's TP'd right out of there. Happy to reinforce the A site. 3 players now here. But short stacked up. It's Artist again to look for some of this contact. I mean, they are getting a lot of utility thrown their way. Artist down right away. The nade was good for Sugetsu, and that ult completely wasted. Fantastic round for Mech as it happens to him.
Yeah, I think it all came down to just that battle in towards Tree, and the utility they used to almost force them back, and then just the swing out that ends up just basically wiping out the full force. And it's a shame because it was straight after Zipan actually used his ult. I don't think the setup was bad. I don't even think that necessarily the aim was bad. It's just that they were slightly outgunned, and that's enough for Mech to take it home. Chronicle, tasty shot onto Angel. And wow, he's just not missing at this point. And this is the terrifying prospect whenever you play Mech. No matter the form, no matter the structure, no matter the setup, they've got the aim.
Well, that's exactly it. As I said before, the individual brilliance never really in question with this roster. You can see some of those moments here, but on the attack, their ideas just seem much more polished. Like, they're able to commit to their ideas and not be put on the back foot, which is a big difference based on their defense, where it seems like, you know, constantly second guessing, constantly moving and regressing into angles, over committing for fights. I mean, it was a pretty disastrous defense, especially when you compare it to what Mech are known for. Yeah. Yet the attack so far, very promising. This round here, this could swing it completely into their favor. FPX investing everything, but they've also got that tour de force on Artist. And he is still sticking around here with a TP to get him out if he gets challenged. I guess it goes down to timing.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't feel like he's had a massive amount of success. Like he's had an opener once or twice, but ultimately the round has then fallen apart from there. And his repositioning, again, hasn't worked out nearly as nicely as we've seen it before. I think that some of the players on Mech have done very well to shut him down before he gets too dangerous. Again, though, starting to set up in towards this A site, and with a multitude of players already around this angle, this does start to get a little bit terrifying. The one thing that could cause them issues, though, is the fact that you've got, well, this.
Oh, Showstopper hasn't connected, and the trade is there instantaneously. Zipan still holding on. Angel's there to support. Paranoia going through. Zipan on another, and Mech, they have got no foothold on this site. The spike has been retrieved. It's in Redgar's hands. He's got nowhere to go with it, really. Nat's trying to get him onto the site, but there's the spike down. And a 1v3, limited information, limited weaponry to back him up. 15 seconds left. Moving to short. That could have been huge. He lit Sugetsu to 72.
But this is the thing, like, I will never, ever count Nats out of those scenarios just because of how good of a read he seems to have on those scenarios. But yeah, solid hold. I think even the fact that Artist doesn't actually get anything there, it's just the fact that they have the right players in the right place at the right time. And they're a little bit unlucky, if anything, because that use of the From the Shadows just to try and get information of where the players currently are, it gives them away the fact that they could have actually fallen back out of this. They were so committed to A at that point that, well, FPX are able to just fully rotate in and have that late flank at the end.
As we said, that round, it could have meant it all to Mech, but it doesn't end there. They still get a buy. They still get an operator in the hands of Nats. An early round, they're not in a rush. Taking their time, trying to force FPX into taking some fight. Not force them, but trying to make some noise and bait them into some fights. For now, very, very passive. They've given up all control just to trap them in.
The operator's an interesting one, though, because facing off against a team that's being really aggressive, I can understand it. But think about the angles that even Artist is taking. He was playing within the mid-market. He was playing short, but at a passive angle. Last round, he was playing the A site. These are not angles that you're peaking. He's never taking a wide swing. In fact, nobody is. So Nat's having an operator, I almost think they rely on somebody else getting them in towards the sites, because I don't think FPX are going to give them anything.
Oh, look up close as well. They have... Oh, Artis! He gets nothing for his trouble. Angel coming through, making some noise, doing some damage. And actually, they've dropped the spike. Zipman flash over, peek through. 28 seconds. No utility now to work with, but he's got a good angle. Only the one kill comes of it. Zagetsu still with a res. And a player on short now with the door closed can easily be brought back to life.
Yeah, they're going to retake that control and make sure that they bring Angel back from the fray. 2v3, actually, they've reopened it. They've looked to try and take this space back. Now, there is still a paranoia. If this is read by the other side, they could look to clear it, but instead, Redcar's going all the way back around. Time's going to be everything. If Defo can just delay them a little bit, this flank could kill off almost everyone. First goes his way, and that's enough. He's bought some extra time. Up above, there's going to be the drop down, and Defo's found another. Redcar's flank confirms it. An opportunity for FPX, but the clutch factor of Mech is just too much.
Great space reading by Redgar. Like, he knew, and if they close that door, it's way too much information for their opponents to work with. It's an avenue they don't have to worry about being flanked from. Door opens, they don't worry about being flanked from it, but hey, that's even better for Redgar in that spot. I think they did really well, especially to deal with Zipan after just that second kill. Angels drop into the smoke. You know, I appreciate it, man. You know, coming in the suplex from the top rope, but it didn't quite pan out according to plan. And now we finally see what we were expecting, I guess, a round ago, which is that Mech face off against practically nothing from FPX. This is a round they should have. And with ulti starting to build up and being in the tank for next, and I'm looking over at FPX's side, and they have got practically nothing in that department. Favor is certainly starting to swing, Tom.
Yeah, I can't believe we're seeing a Mech attack side comeback. And now, well, with pistols in play, I like the timing of the Haunt utilized to almost force him back off the angle. That's the thing, again, I don't think FPX have played particularly aggressive, because in the past, the executions from Mech just haven't been good enough. But today, at least, they've definitely picked it up, even if some of it has just been off the individuals popping off. Chronicle's entry capability being one of the best in the world right now. Angel's timing needs to be spot on, and it's not.
Oh, Redgar, he is taking some risks spraying through that smoke.
30 seconds left.
Well, look, all things considered, FPX are again in a good spot. They can get through and pick up some weapons, potentially look to fight on the retake onto site. 3 versus 3. Zipan's still got his ulti to play around. This can do a lot for them. I mean, even just looking at that, you cancel out Shadow's flashes, Nats' TP. And Nats' TP will be canceled out.
Oh,
the flash, though, not so much.
Gorgeous stuff from Shados. He's been having a brilliant map, and as one of the sort of sole utility pieces on this side to really help set up, he's right up there in kills as well. Defo's had a decent resurgence. I think that's a lot of what has happened in this second half. We saw a very weak first half from Defo. He started to make a comeback. I think Shados almost was the one that kept them in it, and now everybody else has turned up to the party. Chronicle looks like a completely different beast. I will say the idea to switch him to the Duelist and just have him as a hard entry, it was something I was skeptical about because of how much of a star he could be in the late round. But damn, does he have impact in the early round.
Right, but he certainly has been so far. That needs to continue as we see the rifles out for FPX. And again, not wanting to skirmish for mid. And you look at how much quicker Mech are taking this control. They've got a nade down pizza. It's destroyed the trap. They're walking up, and now Nats is already here. They've been so slow getting up through this position, but now starting to feel that FPX are just not respecting that control. And with this operator holding the angle, it just comes down to when Artis decides to swing out, or if he does. Got a TP to step back, but right now, he has no idea there's anyone here. If he steps out to find out, there is a nasty surprise that'll be greeting him. Who's going to move first, Tom?
well, I guess eventually it kind of has to be Mech, but the thing is they're trying to put pressure on the other side of the map. This patience maybe not paying off just yet, as the footsteps are going to be heard. Artis, he's played here before. They expected it. The pop flash forced him off completely, and they should have the information as well. Exactly where they are! But it is just a slaughter as they try and enter into the site. Defo alongside Nats, just trying to make some extra space with only seconds to go. Xiao even finds one through the wall, and it is a shutdown within the B site. A slower round from Mech, not given anything, and this time FPX have the hold.
Yeah, what an incredible hold on the market. I mean, Mech are blitzing out onto that side. They're deafening everybody up. They think they've got the control for free, and Artis spraying away on that side angle. Goes down, but allows time for Angel to cross back over to the site. And that's what ends up closing them out the round. Another brilliant performance coming out of Artis in that moment, finding so much value. And I think that's really, you know, you look at Artis sometimes and go, man, you don't need a peek there. You know, he's going out for these crazy aggressive peeks, but when it works, it really bloody works. This time he's got an operator.
But there's one on the other side. A buffed one. Both players, again, just playing this standoff. It seems like Nats might be about to actually take the peak. Gonna destroy the trap, which definitely lets Artis know that he's there, but that information means nothing.
You're so smart, Artis. You're so smart. He's on the angle that he knows Nats can't clear till he walks up into that position, and he has the patience. This is the guy we're just talking about, like, oh, he just runs in like a lunatic sometimes. And he sits there and says, I'm not going to move. This is a favorable angle, a favorable fight for me, and someday now someone's going to peek me, and I'm going to kill them. And the patience to sit there for the minute, the reward is found. Wall up just in time. Ah, that is incredible.
And even just as information is worthwhile. They now have to make a late decision, and well, they can't exactly go back towards the A site now. They're being hit by the null command. They're still going to go for it. Timing almost goes against Zipan. The spam through from Saigetsu, just trying to delay them. And now the repeat comes through again. A multitude of frags going in the favor of FPX, and the remaining players on the other side have no choice. They're back to holding onto these guns once again, as the time will tick down to no.
That feels like FPX are buttoning up and getting to work at this point. I mean, some of these plays coming out now, it reeks of just getting your head in the game. Artis having the patience to hold that angle for as long as he did, and we saw the round before, sitting inside market for as long as he did until eventually utility forced him out. These are the sort of plays that, you know, towards the end of the game, now I start to have even more faith, because I don't expect to see those overextensions coming out of FPX. And it looks like Mech want to tighten their own ship up now that they're neck and neck. And really on the home stretch, whoever wins this one here, look, they're not going to face an easy round next. There's a decent bit of economy on both teams. And in terms of ultimates, probably in a, you know, even enough territory there as well. So it's not the end of the world.
I feel like Mech need this round a lot more.
Two players have not invested on Mech yet. Sorry,
yeah,
I just glanced at the money. But of course, yeah, they're going to be absolutely ruined.
Nats has to drop one. That, like, it probably going to end up with Defo, maybe on a pistol, or best, like a Guardian, which, okay, if you're a Mech player, a Guardian is something you're very much going to be used to. But yeah, this could be it for Mech. Like, they've got to get something done. They've got no ults. The only one they can even get close to having online is going to be that Showstopper, which, okay, in Chronicle's hands has huge amounts of value. On the other side, if Artis dies, he's going to have a tour de force for the next round. So he can even play a little bit more audacious than he might do, just with that being less of a risk. You've also got Nightfall close for Xiao, which we've already seen how impactful that can be in retakes, or just slowing teams down as they go for the push. And well, slowing Mech down can be enough for the clock to run out. So this one could be everything. As now Mech, you've seen what the purchase is. It's actually going to be a Spectre in Defo's hands, and definitely not the prettiest of buys.
Yeah, again, a Spectre for Defo and a Phantom for Nats. So Defo's really nerfed, not able to take any of those ranged fights. Looks like he won't have to.
Look at the pace.
Nice flash. Okay, they're forcing them back towards the site with this 3 players here, and 2 quick frags for FPX. A reset on this operator, and a player now sat in spawn, ready to pop a flash out whenever things start to get a little bit dicey. In fact, that's just about to come through. A knife to start with. Information. 2 players towards market. 1 almost just got taken down.
And they're completely trapped. There's a wall on short, so even to move back in that direction, and it's not like they've left it abandoned. Angel's still going to be here. Maybe wary that they have actually wrapped all the way back around with the spike, but 40 seconds left, and it seems like they're almost just going to try and bang their head against the wall. They've got a crossfire into mid. Like, FPX have literally thought of absolutely everything, and Mech, they're just hoping that someone makes a mistake. Someone does something silly. It ain't happening.
Like you said, slowing them down can be enough to just run that clock into the ground. And right now, we're starting to see that. There's 20 seconds left in a 3 versus 5. And it's time to get going. 12 seconds, and they're stuck inside of main behind that nade. 8 seconds as they're making their way towards the stairs. And 4 seconds, there's no time left to plant. It's time to save inside of market. Have you ever seen a save like this? It looks like the timer is wrong and there's 40 seconds left. We're about to see a split, but Mech literally got halted in their tracks and just never got going again.
But that's the thing. I feel like, again, you're looking at FPX directly reading into what Mech have wanted to do even in their slow rounds. They are a team that loves to pressure market. They are a team that loves to try and push that split through into B. So they had an aggressive player within B main, and then they had a multitude watching ready for anybody to try and make it out of market. They haven't gone for some sort of A site execute. And you know what? After failed B attempt, look where the majority of the FPX side are.
Hold on, here comes the smoke. Artist up close, and he's able to TP right out. Immediately, those fights are going their way. The showstopper is slowed down completely. A shot though is called Angel. Oh, he's made a mistake this time. And now they might have a chance. Meg, they're fighting hard. Artist, well, first of all, manages to avoid that boombot just by sheer luck, but also sheer luck catches the guy through the smoke in the head. That's the last thing that Mech needed in this moment. Now they're stuck in this 2 versus 3. The players on site, the door now open, and it looks like they want to make a play. I'm not sure they even care where they make a play. They just need to get a duel under their belt right here and now, Tom. And well, as this clock runs down and the players close in, okay, they actually do win one, but then Xiao steps it up with a double, and FPX take map number 1.
I'm sure all the FPX fans are sweating a little bit after that one, as Mech made an impressive comeback on the attack side of a map, which ultimately we've never really seen a strong attack side from, but it is definitely one hell of a start to what is likely to be a long series. We've got Breeze up next, Mitch, and honestly, I don't really know if I believe in the Yoru of Angel or I believe in just that strong long-term sort of success we've seen out of the side of Mech.
Yeah, as we've talked about before, you know, there is obviously an option for FPX here to pull out one of 2 comps, and the Yoru being one of them. The surprise factor there. Even if you're ready for it, we've seen before that teams can find it hard to adjust to that in the moment of the round. So I'm excited to see what they pull out. And honestly, either way, with a map under their belt, there's no pressure for them now. Moving on to map number 2, it's Mech that need to step it up here if they want to make their way to Copenhagen. We're going to toss things off to a break for now, Tom. So we'll catch you guys back here in a few.
It's a great time to be a FPX fan. They are one step closer to making it to Masters Copenhagen, but the job is not done just yet. 1-0 up, but that was a hard-fought map, you two.
I mean, this was costing a lot of nerves, a lot of time, and a lot of brain cells, but in a way that you really had to comprehend in what happened right here. It turned out to be the classic CIS versus CIS, right? So many slow rounds, so many patient plays, and all of it just came together with FPX winning a few final battles towards the end. And most importantly, Market became the position or the final nail of the coffin, with Mac waiting till like 7 seconds are left, executed.
Do you remember what I said in the pre-show about Mac? Like them running out of time and not punishing any mistakes? Yes, and then they have to like push in the last 15 seconds and they're just getting demolished by one single piece of utility. That was happening all the time with Mac in general. And I feel like a lot of the mistakes that we have seen from both of those teams could have been easily rectified, but in general, like both teams kind of denied themselves the opportunity to do that. And if you compare this match to the previous one, for example, in the last map between Fnatic and Guild, both of those teams won every single 5v4 from both sides when they had an advantage. Of course, they converted the round. Well, for example, here on the sand, both teams failed to convert 2 out of 6 for FUNPLUS PHOENIX and failed to convert 2 out of 9 for Mech. That is a huge thing.
Yeah, but the reason for that is, at least in my eyes, is when you execute that late, it is fight after fight after fight immediately. Like, it's not this, here we have an entry duel, we wait, we default, and then we go in, right? It's really that one after another, after another, after another. And that was really the thing about this game, right? And for me, Mech initially, when we talk about their defense, they tried a lot of things, considering taking room away off of FPX. For example, Nats was really keen in taking A main control of his chamber, and it could teleport. But at the end of the day, FPX was ready for that, anti that to a certain extent, and FPX really, pardon Mech, had to really fall back, for example, on their defense. So there are many iterations where both seemed, clueless is the wrong word, but, you know, falling
Wasn't
on the
pretty.
shoelaces. Yeah, it wasn't really pretty.
Yeah.
And also mentioning Nats, I feel like on attack when he's on the chamber, on defense he's efficient. You know,
Totally.
he is very also aggressive. There was one moment in mid when he just like repeat 3 times. But on attack, he can't take the same space with chamber that he was able to take with Cypher or Viper, and he was lurking, had access to something to negate the traps with.
I mean, we don't usually point out the ugly things, but Lothar, in a map like this, in a situation how important it is as well, I feel like we got to break down some of that.
So we're gonna start with FPX. This is the round 2 of defense for them when they won the pistol round and they are going into a potentially full buy, right? And before the round started, I was like, wait, talking to the rest of the crew, FPX is on 2 pistols on defense, which is if your opponents will force, they will actually be equipped better by a lot, because the opponents will have like 5 SMGs and you're gonna have only 3. That was the first worry that I had, because you never know if someone is gonna force or not. But the other thing is, look at the equipment here. Zipan has a Vandal and he is very far away from the other players from his team. And now also Ardis is completely choked by the Chaos Dagger, which make him essentially killed because he's not able to TP out of this situation. And then Angel has to wide swing and try to trade him with the Ghost, so he's not able to mow down multiple people with just by dry picking and wide picking into this situation here. So he's at a disadvantage, which essentially gives the attackers a free gun, also a lot of space. And now Zipan goes with a Vandal against 2 players, gets killed, and that donates another gun. That's a round that Meg just got for free and got a free Vandal as well. And now this is the round where we talked about already on the desk. With the 20 seconds left on the clock, just look at the amount of utility that the opponents still have. Essentially, just 1 paranoia or 1 defragment from the KO here stops the absolutely every single push that is being made. The attempt to go into the 15 seconds here is just literally suicide, because 1 piece of the utility stops the entire push. And that's it. Like, why not go a little bit earlier so that utility can be still waited out?
I mean, it's not pretty, but it gets the job done in the end. FPX, all they need is to win this series. And as you guys know, they will be going to Masters Copenhagen. And moving on to the second map, this is where we expect, Ryzesh, for them to close out.
You're talking you're talking about a map where we're about to see Lofar's favorite. It's a Yoru that's going to be most likely included into that. I think most importantly, what's very important about this map is not only how they play it and so on, it's that Mech is starting on defense. This is like exactly the condition to have the momentum in their way. And the interesting part for me is it has been a bit of a downward spiral with the way they have played this map. Worked brilliantly at the beginning of the season versus BBL, 13-5 victory. Overtime versus Ascent. That recent loss versus Guild. It really turns out to be the situation where we still have not seen a change in composition of being Chronicle, you need to do the Duelist, because Jet seemingly is not in his repertoire at all. But it still feels like that map was just too scrappy from the Guild side to be like, yep, this is what we can confidently do against an absolutely mental FPX.
And also, Meg, I would say it's a good team that reads into the opponent's strategy book, right? So they're able to counter-strat some opponents. And now the question will be, is Angel still going to play on the Yoru? Will he stick to the past 2 breezes that we watched, right? And if that's the answer will be yes, will he change his Yoru? Because Yoru is a character that is a great when he's catching people off guard, when your strategies are not known. But when if Angel doesn't have a deeper playbook than what we have seen so far on Breeze, then everyone will know that there's a TP on the box on mid, that the other TP is on the broken wall on B side, and on the corner on the B side as well, and on A is just push with a clone on the right side of site. And if that can be easily countered, he needs to now widen the playbook if he still wants to play effectively this Euro on this map.
I think the Euro was really cool, though, to see, because he very often was very close to his enemies on the attacking side. For example, his mid teleports very often created a lot of pressure for opponents who are not so aware about that. But at the same time, again, is it the FPX that have fully mastered it? Because 3 times played this stage, 3 different compositions. Slight variations, like a Fade was there and then suddenly a Sova. But at the same time, I'm like, is this going to be too expected for Mac, and are they 100% aware? Because one thing, we had a week or 5 days of time to prepare exactly for that.
On the other side, though, as we head into Agent Select, I feel like every time we've seen Mech, it's been something different. I don't remember the last time that we saw 2 maps of Mech back-to-back where they didn't change something from the previous time they played it.
With Breeze, it wasn't the case. With Breeze, actually, they were sticking through.
I guess in this stage, in the playoffs.
Yeah, okay, fair. Okay, yeah, you're right. About playoffs, absolutely. So this is where I'm really curious if there's going to be a big change or not, or if it's going to be something that we're about to see. Because Chronicle is the first player we're going to see doing a change or not, and he does not. So Shao goes to with what he's done. Defo swaps over.
There's the change. There's the change.
Do they play non-duelist? That's the question. Do they play non-duelist?
Well, let's
I
see
want to know
what is Redguard doing?
Is Redguard and Reyna? No.
What?
Okay,
that is insanely
Someone's
unusual.
watched G2. Someone's been watching G2.
I'm a fan of using double controllers on Breeze because that frees up the space to take nest control from the Viper, so the Viper can be more efficient with the fuel because the Omen will smoke off the holes, smoke off the nest, and because of that, Nats can be now fully focused on pushing A side, for example.
And it could be very interesting to see what this particularly will do with what Angel does, because he on attack is very tedious to play against, and how much the Omen will take space away from him, or how it will pretty much call him out of his control.
Well, remember, Paranoia goes through walls.
Yeah.
So whenever Angel will be TPing or fake TPing in a position, Omen can literally just throw a Paranoia in that direction. Doesn't matter what position he is at, because that will catch that potential Yoru position as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to see if this is the adaptation that Mech needed. They are throwing everything they can at FPX. And a reminder that the winner of this will go to Masters Copenhagen. Tom and Mitch, there's a lot of pressure riding on this one.
Well, Tom, what a way it would be to go to Copenhagen off the back of a Yoru play. I would certainly love to see that day.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm more looking at what Mech are doing, though. I think that we've seen that this Yoru composition, at least on Breeze, I'm not going to condone it on any other map, but on Breeze at least, it has had huge amounts of value. The thing is, though, they now have multiple demos, multiple different uses of it to look through versus Ascend, and then take things away. And we've seen them switch their composition up quite drastically in terms of the roles. They've removed the Jet, but also they've added in a second controller. And I can only think that that's going to be in an attempt to try and counter what Angel is doing. I don't know if it's something that FPX will have predicted. In fact, I doubt it is. Whether that matters or not, that's another thing altogether.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, I think this Yoru is make or break for me because I've seen it be incredibly annoying to play against. But then I tossed my mind back to that Icebox game, and it just seems like...
Or the Fracture one at the beginning
of
the
the Fracture,
season.
absolutely. It seems like if your opponents are ready for what you're pulling out, then... And if they're not caught off guard, let's say it that way, then the value just seems to dissipate entirely. So I'm still not entirely sure.
Interesting smoke.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what it was intended for, because it's sort of it's semi-creative, a little angle they could look through, but they're just going to go running straight through. I don't think that is the intended use. And well, it seemed like they were ready for Angel, but it doesn't really matter. He still found them the opener. Chronicle with a nice trade back, and the rest of the teammates ready to play this as a retake.
Yep, a good return. Chronicle's left on 70. It was only the one shot that he took from it, and so he's able to go back out here and look for a little bit more. The Headhunter seeking some victims. It's going to be the drone to lead the way, clear close, and then get destroyed. But, I mean, it's already made most of its path at that point. Crossover from Shao occupying the corner. I'm not sure they cleared that with the drone. They might have, but now they've seen that there's a player there. Okay, into the 2v2. Low HP on Chronicle, and he's dealt with as well. Zipan, I don't know what's with this guy in pistol rounds, but he just seems to show up.
What the thing is, what they actually did, they cleared it with a drone and with a fragment. So I think Xiao saw that and went, if I just walk in there, they're 100% not going to check it. Now, Mech did still check it, but nonetheless, it's enough. It's enough of a distraction as well that they then have to almost look away from fighting Zipan, and you can never give this man that sort of chance. 1-0, FPX again. I think they've won every pistol so far, right? Because they've also taken big risks in their second round, so they must have done.
Yeah, they've been, oh, hold on. Up close here, we got Nats. Flash. Oh! They're counting for the player close, but not the one further back this time around. It was a little bit of a risk. Could have had huge reward, but only end up losing the one player for it. Let's see what the others can grab. I mean, the headhunter on Chronicles, obviously the main thing, and it was almost going to get a fight in elbow. He's pushed all the way through now. It looks like he might even have a mini flank on the way. Shados with a good kill, and here is where Chronicle, there you go, finds the value.
So far, all FPX have lost is the pistols. They had 2 players still holding on to them in this round, and now it's the rifles in play. Anything more here could be a weapon falling into enemy hands, or more importantly, could be the round actually slipping away from them. Even still, though, they will get themselves onto the site in an afterplant. You can already see that the flank from Xiao is being watched. This 1v1 could be everything. I would be surprised if he lost it, but he's not going to check the angle. It's for free.
Walking around that corner with the Guardian as well. Gives it away altogether. 2 very close shots. I mean, the round could have been over in Mech's favor by now. But FPX, they get out of that one. You know, it is funny. When I look at this FPX team, you look at that round, how many times have they come out of these second rounds and we've said, oh, they actually did lose quite a number of players. And on paper, that's true. But because of the investments that they're making, 3 losses means they lose 1 rifle. That's it.
Yeah.
And then they come into this one still pretty stacked.
Well, the thing is as well, the players that didn't invest anything still have a ridiculous amount of cash to buy into this next one anyway. So now they go in with an extra couple of rifles, and this doesn't even really look like a bonus round anymore.
The only thing that tells you that it's a bonus is that Xiao is now suffering for that for that 3rd player that died previous round. Other than that, like the fact that they've also come through and said, you know what, we're gonna have to, you know, we're not investing the extra bit of money. You're gonna have to just deal with it. I love that as well.
Yeah, making sure that their next round's still going to be a good purchase. And actually, with a couple of Bulldogs on the other side, it's almost like a level playing field. Sure, Xiao's the odd one out, but this is where Mech really need to step up. Rifles in hand. Seems like Shados has already burnt through nearly all of his utility, if he had it to begin with. And already we're starting to see the same sort of execution we've had many a time. This space looking to be taken at the back of the site from Angel. The rest of the players will push him behind him. But the fact is, they've almost given it to him for free.
Shot his own decoy. Oh, there's the reveal. No one able to punish him on the back of it, though. He's got his teleport going out, so he's got an escape. And now it's time to get a little bit more aggressive. Worried about yellow, but they haven't spotted back sight just yet. It looks like he's clearing it. In fact, he just swung out, took the kills. I think that was through the wall, then TP'd right back to cave. Tucks in there. FPX. It looks like they've got this one tidied up already, and Mech have barely even started the retake. They've got so many angles covered and so many guns to watch it and lock it down. Redgar has to go huge. Manages to find one at least. And the Shrouded step across. They haven't punished. If he got the timing there, it could be huge. Oh, and he does. A 1v1 from it. This is phenomenal. Redgar might actually have a chance. It's only Angel left and he's spamming away. Not gonna catch him just yet. How long is that smoke gonna hold for? It's halfway already. It's close. The spray's not there, and he won't get it. Redgar's clutched it out. 4 kills and a defuse under Angel's nose.
Oh, I can't believe what I've just seen. But the worst thing is as well is the smoke did run out, and just Angel did Jim just one to the head. And I know it's easier said than done, but the man literally couldn't let go. He wouldn't have had enough time if he did. Oh, it's actually ridiculous. He could have been dead here. He could have been dead when he TP'd. Artist just didn't peek it, and this is it. Last second. And you do feel like that's one of those ones where if he lets go and just taps, It's the
Oh,
easiest win of his
course.
life.
Yeah.
But you never know. You could be just about to defuse it. So on the panic of the moment, it's impossible. Here we go. Flash through. Big peek. That. Oh, Nats has actually just spotted it. I think he was just close enough to see and hear that TP.
Fake teleport.
He's ready for it. And yeah, he spun to it to kill him, but it was a fake. That fake, though, FPX have got to be, you know at this point they're going to see that that was a fake, right? Like it's in the open. There's a big splash mark. They know what's happened. And they go back to try and catch anybody flanking them and then shift back to the A side. I think they almost want Mech to rotate B and expect that play to be coming through.
Well, with the tour de force online, most of middle is still kept under control. They've got the trap down, although smoke might give them a little bit of an extra angle to try and take control of it. Instead, they're going to try and split their way through into the A side. The same TP has already gone in, and this time Nats goes down. DAY4 with a decent hold, but can't get anything done. It's the flank that actually gets shut out as well. In fact, every player is just being completely slaughtered by the side of FPX. The last round might have been a blip, but, well, they'd have to throw to lose this one.
Oh, and they've even heard him. There you go. Tidied up nicely by FPX. They take 3-1. The Mech defense under heavy threat yet again, Tom. And take a look at the economy. It's not allowing for a full investment here either. And defensive side weak buys on a map like Breeze, they are tough to make work. You've got to have some ideas. Yes. There's some things that can work that can catch your opponents off guard. But I'm more leaning towards this being a pretty convincing one. Of course, that Headhunter and Chronicle, it looks like it's going to go at double doors. A chance maybe to take down Zipan. No, Zipan's just avoiding mid completely. A wise choice.
A lot more aggressive, though. Mid control taken completely. You can see how passive FPX are. I think they're expecting something a little bit more audacious and aggressive in this round, so just holding in their defaults. Actually, the A side has been completely given up, but the fact is they're expecting FPX to be a little bit more spread out at this point. A chance maybe for Chronicle to find a freebie, but no. Just the tag hit onto Angel, my Angel, just as he has been able to escape.
The decoy is going to be used for safety. Drone not getting as much info as I think they'd like. Not sure if it spotted any of those players around the corner. Definitely saw the decoy at least. Another attempt from Angel here to flash himself out onto the site. This time, successful yet again. Redgar. Oh, he doesn't stand a chance. Good shot from Shados. It's the only one for them so far, and well, I'm not too hopeful about these last two.
Spike planted.
Yeah, I feel like in some of the cases now, Mech are almost just trying to ignore Angel, which it definitely has its risks about it, but I don't necessarily mind. I think the rest of the players are almost using him as like, well, I guess to fake out. It's like they're all playing Yoru, and Angel's just sent in as that man that can't afford to go down while they take the space. So the problem is you're always just going to have the thought in the back of your mind that he's going to be behind you, and I think he's found a lot of positions that gives him the space, but doesn't have anywhere near the same level of risk of just like a sort of YOLO TP into the site. Like there are always angles that his teammates were able to cover if anybody was to try and swing out aggressively. Nice shot for DAY4. Of course, he is just going to go down to the spike. FPX now 4-1 up. Again, we always talk about this with the Mech side, that it's their defense that is normally the stronger of the lot. And again, they're off to a poor start.
Well, the timeout called here, and I think we can definitely understand why. We're coming into a very important buy round for Mech, and one where we're still early enough in the half that FPX, although they've got quite a bit of cash built up, they haven't really run away with it just yet. What they have got in abundance is ultimates. 4 of them to work with here, all very impactful. And that Viper's Pit from Sugetsu, attack side, if they even get close to a site, it could turn the round upside down for Mech. This is somewhere they have to be so cautious, because although they're coming in on even footing in terms of weaponry,
it's
Yeah.
really not an even fight.
And it really comes down to how much FPX want to use, because you've got the null command to sort of take away all of your opponent's utility. And that could give you the afterplan in itself. You could use Hunter's Fury just to try and force some of the players back. Like, I don't think there's been a massive amount of variation in the setups. A lot of the time, I think Angel has known where to find Nats every single time he goes in on that execution, which, I'll be honest, that's the least Nats-like thing ever. Like, the man is normally, well, basically a chameleon of the way he plays these different spots. It's like, you're going to go looking for him, and he's already gone. He's blending in with the background, but we've seen it quite a few times now that Angel has been able to pinpoint him, and he's had a really rough start here.
Fake teleport.
The misinformation around mid. I think Mech have played around mid decently. They've gone in for the crunch. We saw the round where Chronicle goes out double doors and tries to take those peaks. So FPX making the adjustment this round to try and sell some fake info around there, have artists late play, and try grab them from inside of elbow. In the meantime, Angels made the exact same play onto the site. Decoy goes out, causing a little bit of a distraction, they would hope. As artist falls, though, that Viper's Pit's going to be used to try and recover things and at least give him space for a plant.
Oh, they're both actually throwing in a Hunter's Fury here. Xiao is going to drop one, and so is Saigetsu around the pit. This gives them that space. They're still watching the flank as well. They are so aware of Redgar. He tries to give himself a bit of a cheekier angle around that trap, which isn't actually there. It's just the predictable spot. And again, this is where that afterfly becomes difficult. Nice shot though, and almost to clear. That's going to actually drop the Viper's Pit, which definitely makes this that little bit easier. Paranoia is also going to force Zipan back, but he's able to hold on to control. Bear in mind, his teammates are completely smoked up right now. He's the only one really defending this. They have made their way out. This retake looking solid, and now Xiao wishing he still had that Hunter's Fury online, as Chronicle will land his third of the round.
Yeah, I have to say that's a huge misplay by Saigetsu, especially because he had already made the same play, pushing out of the Viper's Pit to take the fight on back yellow, which is incredibly aggressive. I mean, if you're going to be fighting around a pit like that, taking duels, you can't just keep doing it late round when they're posturing for a retake. And I know there was a second player there to support, but it's just the risk reward, Tom. You've got the advantage, you've got the plant, and now you've got a Viper's Pit that they're going to spend most of the round trying to push you out of, and instead you just hand it to them on a plate. You know, I think Mech would have traded every piece of utility they had left to get Saigetsu to take that peak.
Yeah.
You want to play? Let's
And they
play.
have, the other thing as well is they actually did burn up a couple of those ults without the same reward they were hoping for. Now, on the other side of things, Tour de Force in for Ardis, a chance for him to really make an impact. And again, it looks like we're going to see the same piece of space take. He was actually in the open that time, but even still, they were unable to really capitalize on it. It seems like Mecha have almost just fallen straight into another retake, this time without the same ults, and instead fighting for that tube control, which they've lost.
And while Saigetsu was out for
Spike down
revenge
A.
this round, not happy having lost his Viper's Pit. They've gained control of the A site. It's Angel who can just TP out, and Saigetsu keeps on going.
planted.
He's now swinging out the other side of spawn. And even though Redgar got caught off guard, that was a whiff. Another, I hate to say it, Tom, but another overextension from Saigetsu. This guy just, he can't stop getting aggressive. Can't stop pushing. Angel's still on site, can't TP. Now he's blind, and he's still alive. But Redgar gets it in the end when the flash dissipates. Zipan's in trouble. Zipan's dead. That's 4 kills for Redgar.
He knows where he is, though. Ardis managing to turn this back, and the swing out from Shados will be enough. Plenty of time for them to get that defusal through. And that's the thing, like, we've now seen these same sort of aggressive plays, the same TPs used almost every single time out from Angel. And actually, Mech have just decided, oh, we'll just retake then. We're just not going to play him. We're not going to allow you to disrupt everything we're doing by taking that space. We'll give you that space and look for the retake instead. And as you mentioned, like, Saigetsu has been playing well. Like, he's had aspects of finding kills in impactful places.
Standing.
But I think the thing is there could have been so much more. Like, didn't need to necessarily overphase. He's a man that has a lot of sort of powerful utility to be used in the afterplan. And instead, well, that one kill ends up being the one player that ends up killing basically your whole team on the way back through.
The a funny world. I mean, Mech now feeling fantastic, getting a second win into this, almost handed to them. I think FPX, this timeout is going to be one where some stern words are had. And you know, it's kind of tough because I think for Sugetsu, that last peak, it's not a cardinal sin. In fact, it was a pretty good peak. It was just a little bit of a whiff. I think that for him, it comes down to, sure, he's dying because of over-aggression that round, like, technically. But at the end of the day, it was a favorable fight, and it's one that I think he should take. It's just unlucky that he lost it. The Viper's Pit, on the other hand, no, I'm not in the same boat. I'm not going to be saying the same thing about that. That was a little bit wild.
The thing is, though, that even though these rounds have been losses, Mech have won none of them cleanly. Like, think about every single round they've won. It's a retake they shouldn't have. It's a defuse they shouldn't have. And it's basically that final clutch there out of Shados, which, again, I feel like you could have put that firmly in Artis's favor moments ago, or even if Sugetsu wins his duel. So Mech haven't had a clean round the entirety of this game so far. I still think it's very much in the control of FPX. And with the finances still there, at least for now, I'm waiting for that definitive moment from Mech, because a lot of the time on their defensive sides, it's utterly dominant. Like, there's nothing you can do. They get aggressive, they take map control, and they just destroy you. And we have seen barely any rounds like that in the series, and none in this map.
Well, that's same little smoke down on the B side. A nade down the slow. Angel making the TP, and he's caught this time. You won't get away with that twice. And, well, FPX have completely slowed this one down. Caught behind the util. They'll eventually have clear skies to take the fight, and they know exactly where Defo is.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's very much isolated right now. This is not something that, of course, FPX can really know, but he's going to be forced back already. If they can get this kill, I feel like an afterplant's almost guaranteed, but Defo's just staying alive. Not overfacing, not even really swinging here. Xiao does manage to get one, and again, they still have to clear him from this position before anything else. Now Chronicles rotated in, but he doesn't get a shot either. Xiao, with 2 kills off the back of the operator, the flash is utterly perfect, and somehow again, within the last few seconds, you're going to make that move. It's left all onto Nats. One of his first kills onto the board, and well, that will be it.
I gotta say, Sugetsu, blow my socks off, man. This guy's so aggressive, but it's working out for them again and again. You almost see why that Viper's Pit play happens, right? Sometimes you need that just overconfidence to go into those fights. Like I said, you know, figuring out when to put that out there and when to tuck it in a little bit and be a bit more tame on that aggression is definitely a tough thing to find the fine balance of. But these last couple of rounds have been fantastic out of the Viper on the side of FPX, and because of that, they are 1 away from getting a Viper's Pit right away. Chronicle trying to go aggressive. This is a little bit... Oh, he's actually...
Xiao! Oh, it's just filthy. The last couple of rounds have been all him, and Angel again. It's a risky TP into the open, but with already managing to get a couple of openers, I think they've realized that there's been some heavy stack-ups into the A site. Their A site execution, I think, was well adapted to by Mech, but their B site one, ew.
Oh, it's really nice. I mean, Chronicle's aggression was perfectly timed. He had the information. He was baited almost perfectly into taking the fight onto Artis. And that first loss they take is Sugetsu swinging into some pistols. He goes down, but still plenty of chances for these guys to, okay, do some damage. Already grabbing themselves a second.
It's like the round is over, but again, can they actually retrieve any of this weaponry? Bear in mind, the economy isn't good on the other side either. Both teams are in a bit of a shaky position, but it will be a 6th on the board for FPX already. I think getting roughly where they would want to be. Now, I am going to caveat that by saying the first time they played Ascend, it definitely didn't seem to be as regimented when it came to their defensive side. Like, you could see where all, especially the Yoru utility, you could see where all of it is utilized when they play attack. Like, the space that's being taken, the sort of almost mind games that are being played. When it came to their defense, it looked very one-dimensional. So I'm gonna not hold my breath on that one, but they're in a very good spot in this first half as well. It seems like Mech have decided they've had enough of playing passively and sitting back and waiting to be executed on. They're going to take the battle to their opponents.
Yeah, not going to play it slow anymore. I like Chronicle going out through mid. We saw it before with the Headhunter in hand. This time the Operator has a much better chance of taking these fights, and you can see that Xiao a little bit scared to peek out there in the spawn. He's going to go for it eventually. He's trying to bait him into a shot early, but Chronicle's actually tucked in now, taking a more passive approach to this, and unbeknownst to him, the entirety of the enemy team is crossing, or at least the majority, right under his nose towards this B site. Although Mech seemed to have read that, really it comes down to what Sagetsu's going to do on this flank. There's a trap in front of him. He could try drop down through mid, but that would be ill-advised. Or is he going to play late?
Oh, it's a battle through the wall. I don't think it's the smartest one at Defo. I think the penny dropped just a second before. There's something Lothar mentioned on the desk, the power of the paranoia facing off against this Yoru. And well, in this round at least, Redgar has completely shut him out. 25 seconds, Mitch. What do you even do from here?
Well, you die because you're being held by Chronicle, but Sagetsu doesn't. He somehow wins that fight, almost goes out for a little bit more, but yeah, this round is done and dusted. And Tom, Sagetsu lurking. Oh, he did get the value. He's getting a little bit more here. They didn't have a wall to go into B, though. And, you know, when Angel goes into site and he finds that little bit of space and he's in this spam fight, I'm thinking, all right, all we need here is just that little bit of support, right? That player to come out with him. A little bit extra to be found. Oh, Jados? Oh, he's not going to get there in time. But, yeah, Viper lurking towards the A site. No wall down already, so you're not going to be able to have any sort of cover on the cross there. It just comes down to Angel having to get it done. And as soon as he's flashed up like that, it's never going to happen. Feels like maybe there could have been a better choice for Lurker in that round, or just even popping that wall on B, start around, having it there for late. Maybe they wanted to swap back, but then you're telling me you're relying completely on Angel finding that opening and duel on B, which so far, you know, he did it in the first round, and since then they've shut him down every time he's tried.
Here we go, Dimensional Drift. Now, the one combo I love with this is you can basically utilize it alongside a Hunter's Fury for an entry. Instead, they've just gone running straight through, and because they were so focused on the other side, the door opens and Zepan just domes both of them. It was all just a ruse, a distraction, and the sneak up behind from Redgar grants nothing. An absolute shutdown of a round of Chronicle. Well, he's desperate to find anything, even just an extra kill, something to say that they did anything in this round. And the fact is, well, it was clean.
You know, it's even worse because Angel ulted to sight. He flashed, popped down his decoy. And when he came out of ult, the decoy was running, so they looked at the decoy, and I think they shot it. And then they were blinded. And it was right about that time that Zipan opened the door and shot them in the side. It was unbelievable to see FPX have that level of thought into it, that level of misdirection. And then the same thing happens in halls. You got a player up top, trying to flank, trying to sneak through. Sagetsu comes up, back of the head. That was a round that it felt like.
Look at where Nats is. He has no idea.
Good,
he's like, wait.
Just spinning
it's like
left
he's being
and right.
shot out from all directions, and in fact, he's not being shot at all.
This just felt like a round where FPX, in terms of the side take, they did exactly what we said
like
works with Yoru. You just made your teammates opponents so incredibly uncomfortable.
Spider-Man, where they have like the villain with all the drones.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like that. He's like looking around, like, trying to work out what's going on.
What a fantastic villain he was, by the way. I mean, the acting in that movie was just, it was next level. I mean, Sue hasn't stopped talking about Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. Just
he is, yeah,
next level.
Beautiful man.
Huge fan.
Here we go. 4 versus 4 already. A kill on either side, but again, this after plant within the A site looks inevitable. Hoping to try and find something on the elevated angle, and instead the Viper Spit's going to go down a little deeper. Not onto the plant, giving them the angles, but also making it difficult for them to try and find anything within the cross. And also eliminating Sagetsu is going to be tough because of how far back he is.
Shock through, flash for Chronicle. He's dancing around and staying alive somehow. Now with the op to play late.
flank is huge. It's the Viper that's going to go down. If Redgar steps inside that smoke and it's free. Oh, it's as free as can be. Xiao is all alone. He's being surrounded, but he's putting up a good fight. The shorty out. That was ambitious. But he had no idea where Defo was coming from, so he had to just make a play.
Close.
Had to make a gamble, but in the end, Mech find themselves a 5th round.
A decent grind back. The thing is, again, I'm not sure I have that same level of faith in Mech going into the attack. They proved me wrong on the last, and I'm hoping like a lot of what Redgar have planned around this Omen revolved around their attacker side strategy. I feel like a lot of the time when you're bringing in a new agent, it's because you regimented your strategies on the attack rather than having a few like paranoias here and there. Because it definitely had its impact, but like one of the rounds was him getting a 4K at a retake. I don't think a lot of that came down to utility, but there was some. Now going into this second half, Nats, he's had a rough time again. And when normally, again, you expect him to have that sort of magical defender half, but it seemed like he really struggled versus the likes of Angel and that Yoru. Now instead, well, let's see if he could do it on the attack.
It's a big request. Start things out with a lot of Hull's presence. Is this a split through the spawn they're looking for? Because the other players are on B. They're going to have to contend with Artis. He's currently sat around the elbow, but I don't think he's given away his position. And that's the Spike that's on the other side. He's got a 1v2, and Artis, well, he wins these more often than you would think. There's one already, but Nats will catch him.
Last player standing.
Oh, looking like a slaughter in this pistol round for Mech. Maybe the lifeline that they needed with Angel now, the last man standing. Spike's still lurking on the other side. He is in a pretty good position here. Oh, first I thought for a second he was going to manage to correct in time, but no, Chronicle will put him in the dirt. First pistol that Mech have actually managed to win within this series thus far. So maybe the lifeline that they needed just to get themselves back into this one. They are going to go actually for a fair few rifles of their own here, although I'll be intrigued to see if they do the same with the pistols.
Look at Mech Spy. They're going in for a Guardian and 2 Bulldogs, and a lot of range capability here. Chronicle obviously playing his Headhunter. And this is one that they can do exactly what they are doing. Just pump the brakes and wait for the push on the other side. Try to keep every single fight as ranged as you possibly can. For a second, because I don't have that skin for the Guardian. I only have it for the Spectre. I thought he had a Spectre in that position, and I was about to launch into a monologue for Shados of just, what do you think you're doing? But he is the guy with the Guardian.
Obviously... Shados has to now write an apology to Mitch for buying different skins.
Yes, if everybody could keep it to the same skins that I use, that would be easier for me.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, they'd also all be bankrupt.
Well, listen.
Let's put it this way: if there were ever any problems at Riot, Mitch would single-handedly keep them afloat with his purchases.
I just need to stop making good skins, man. Every time I keep saying, "All right, this is the last one. This is the last one," and then it never is.
I reckon you probably got about 8 different Vandal skins.
8? Yeah, I've got 12, mate. Unlucky. No, I think it's Phantoms. I think it's 12 Phantoms and like 9 Vandals or something. I don't know. It made me very sad when I realized. Anyways, 7-6 on our way into the site are Mech. And FPX are going to have a tough retake. They stacked up B. They wanted it to be B. Not B. Now, well, I guess it just comes down to a question of damage. Already quite a lot done to Nats. And I guess, you know, different to what Mech were facing. If FPX find 2 kills, they are going to see an immediate knock-on effect of that.
Redgar's position is not something I really expect to be checked, and I think the only player really in any level of danger here is actually going to be Chronicle. Well, he's still managing to survive within the site and just shut everybody down. Leaving it just on to the last couple, maybe not wanting to give too much away, and in fact, they get absolutely nothing. A flawless round out from Mech exactly when they needed it, and similarly to what we talk about when we say FPX, they play a little bit differently in these sort of bonus rounds, so they actually get some decent weaponry going in here. you basically have 4 rifles because of the free Guardian in the back pocket of Chronicle, and they have always been known for being incredibly good with Guardians and Bulldogs. Like, I know that Sue's gonna get angry if I don't mention that Durka is also good with the Bulldog, but the players that normally spring to mind for me are players like Nats. Like, he has always been incredibly good with this gun, so I don't know. I don't think this is gonna be easy for FPX, and it's one where they're really gonna need it to get off to a strong start in this half.
Yep, Mech have equalized up. They're hot in their heels. A mid-control attempt. Mech really like to go for mid-control on their defensive side. We saw it from so many rounds. No surprise the defense. So their attack is falling on from the defense. They go up through mid. Take a lot of control. Only 2 spotted there. It's not the end of the world. They can... Ooh, okay. Redgar's going all the way across. Smoke, of course, covering him. We've seen someone try to make that shrouded step without a smoke, and it didn't work.
Spike down. Mid.
He has... Sugetsu's crazy. Absolutely mad. I don't think I've seen a player make that play before, and certainly not successfully.
That guy's managed to take quite a bit more control. A deep smoke utilized. Give him this precision. Timing's going to be everything, and Xiao just doesn't expect it. Deep within their spawn at this point, and look how low the players within the B site are. A bullet away, either of them from going down. In fact, there's the first, and now they have to be wary of that flank. It doesn't even matter. Nats has caught another. Redgar's just waiting, and Mech will now take the lead once again. 8-7 up. They break the purchase of their opponents, and more importantly, they get to retrieve all of those rifles.
As if they needed any more credits, now starting to get stacked up on that side. This is just a ridiculous play. I mean, how often do you see somebody actually take the drop down there, let alone with a Vandal of all things? But it was pretty much the only success that they had in the round, surprisingly. FPX now left with just a couple of pistols. And as we said for Mech when they were on the defense in this situation, it isn't all too easy to get value out of these kind of rounds. You need it to be artists popping off with that headhunter or some very unique engagements to come out from FPX. And already Angel spotted out Redgar. So they know, or they should know, Mech have been playing that slow default. They are a team that are known for the slow default, and now they're up against pistols, Tom. So no surprise, it's a slow default.
Yeah, they've not really got any reason to do anything other than that. Like, if it comes down to an execution, unless there's a stack on that side of the map, it's going to be very difficult for FPX to really get anything done. It's not pretty for Redgar, normally known for that sort of first bullet accuracy. He's going to take an awful lot of damage. Sagetsu, in the meantime, is taking deep control in towards the tube. Now, Mech are running out of places they could possibly be, with them being forced off the angles into mid. And being spotted on this side. Oh, it's unlucky timing. Could have had everything going from him. More importantly, now that headhunter is gone, at least for the moment. It should be back by the time they actually get close to Artist, though.
Yeah, he just repositions to his teammate. Now they gotta look for some of these fights. Good damage already done. Defo and Redgar quite low, so Mech need to be a little bit careful here as they lose Shados, but Chronicle steps it up. 2 quick frags, and things are definitely feeling a lot more under control over on that attack side. The recon to make its way through. Should be destroyed. Defo staring at it, and indeed it will be. 25 HP on Defo, as we said on Redgar as well. Chances were here for this to be a really costly round. It looks like Mech have managed to evade most of that damage. Oh, good shot! Zip back through the smoke. Wow, but either way, 9 rounds for Mech.
I feel like that was almost like just an angry shot of just like, I'm just going to spam that smoke because screw you, I'm going to die to the spike anyway. But yeah, 9-7. Ults, although not online, very, very close for FPX in this sort of round. And they did a decent amount of damage. The problem, Mitch, is that the financials are already incredibly good for Mech. Like, they've been able to win a bonus round where ultimately they still had much cheaper weaponry and upgrade them for free. So you're going to be in an incredibly good spot financially. They're even going to play the Tour de Force into this one. So for the next round, Chronicle is going to end up on max catch, which, okay, maybe they could have done something about that and shared the wealth a little bit, but hey, okay.
Ambitious.
Did they snake by that ready for his TP?
I don't know if it was necessarily that, but maybe.
Either way, they've lost Chronicle now, and Chronicle's being, I mean, he's got to be the most, I don't know, Nats is being consistent across the board, but Chronicle's being one of the most impressive players to watch in VCT this season, hands down, especially coming into playoffs.
Yeah, his move to Duelist and Chamber has definitely made a pretty big difference for the squad. Even still, though, they're going to get this site mostly for free. They've got the Viper's Pit as well for Nats, and as mentioned before, he's one of the nastiest players to sort of utilize around this. There are a lot of ults currently in position, and Redgar has caught timing once again. Saigetsu going to be gone, his utility with it, and while a double up, safe. You can't retake this with a double up ever, and in fact, I think Redgar's already had the realization that, well, he definitely has now, that they're saving.
Oh, those steps are heard. He can't quite afford to run after them. And he eventually gets peeked by Xiao. So, okay. Unlucky, Redgar. Nice attempt. What a disgusting skin. They're so close now. Double digits on the board for Mech. This map's certainly looking a whole lot better in the second half, and it's continuing the theme, Tom. Mechs just seem to be an attack-sided team now. I guess there couldn't be more of a definitive step away from the Mech of old, could there? Like,
yeah, literally. The problem is because they're not doing that well on the defense, so they have to do well on the attack. Because they've started defense on both maps, which is actually quite interesting going in for the picks. But I guess FPX have always been fantastic on the attack. I'm still sat here waiting though, and I'm sure Loth is exactly the same on the desk. Like last time we saw FPX play the Yoru on this defensive side, I said it doesn't really look like there's much he can do with it. Lothar told me there's loads of stuff he can do with it, but he hasn't been doing it. And I think that's the difference is I've not seen any value from that agent just yet when it comes to the defender side. Like I've not seen anything that Angel has done. And a lot of it's such, if he does do something with the abilities, it's so ridiculously aggressive that, like we saw in this round, he basically TPs into a snake bite in the open, waiting to die almost. Like he was forced to peek out because of where he teleported. Now that doesn't necessarily, like the crux of their defense doesn't revolve around that agent. But if you're going a man down that early because of these risks, then it becomes a problem, especially versus one of the best defaulty teams in the world.
yeah, I mean, look, we were talking about this just the other day, Tom, and this was my concern coming into it, was like this sort of play from Angel. On the attack side, it relies on catching them off guard, and it did at the start, and then they adapted, and they were very ready for it every single time he threw it through. And then the other aspect of it is on your defensive side, up against Mech, a team that we know for a long time has been one of the best defaulting teams out there. It's going to be damn hard to get that value. Now look at this, a fast play out of Mech this time, no defaults, just pure aggression, and they have been shut down. Saigetsu picks his moment to strike with a Sheriff in hand, and a 4v2 now emerges. Artis coming in with an operator. Xiao's gone down, opposite landing, and it comes down to Angel to grab a kill with a Sheriff in hand. This is winnable for Nats, but Zipan will close it out, and the round goes to FPX. What an incredible change from what we had just seen, from what we had expected out of Mech, from what we were just talking about Mech typically doing all the time. And, well, I don't think the change has resulted in any sort of success.
The thing I will say, though, is that I have no issue with the change whatsoever. Yeah. Like, I love the idea. The fact is, look at where they put their screen in this round. They've used it to almost stop the cross over into the site, and it almost screams that they're going to go towards main just because it sections off everything else. There can be no other angle that they peek. Instead, they set up with a pot flash that goes through it. The problem is, nobody was ready for Saigetsu, and nobody was ready for him to shoot two people in the head with a Sheriff. So I don't think it was a bad strat. I just think FPX actually managed. They seemed very, very ready for it.
Whether they were ready, whether Saigetsu just hit two of the craziest Sheriff shots of his life,
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Either way, 8 rounds on the board for FPX, and Mech have got to fight their way back in. They do exactly that, though. Artis dropped immediately. A site, a main at least, held down by a Viper's Pit, but the B site ain't held down by anyone.
Cutting through.
I'm not sure if Redgar was blind or if the flash faded, but it looked like he was. They also know roughly where they're going to be on the entry into the site. He's just hitting Angel.
15 HP,
He's
man.
just hitting Angel. And yeah, he hasn't really done that much damage to the other players either. They've done well to avoid it. Angel, if he gets shot through this wall, he's dead, and there you go. Chronicle has found him all the way back towards the opening of B main. A free kill. Obviously, it wouldn't have mattered if he'd been hit by the ult or not, because it was a headshot straight through the wall with an ult, but now it's left all onto Xiao. Maybe trying to sacrifice his teammate for a little bit of a buff, but he needs to find so much in Chronicle. He's just not missing.
As we said, the other round when Chronicle went down, it's like that's where the warning signs start to pop up and get a little bit worried. But once this guy's alive, man, he has just been delivering again and again and again, game in, game out. 21-13, matching up to Redgar, who, a little bit of an unsung hero, because in the rounds where Chronicle's holding it down with an op and taking multi-kills, it's very obvious, but Redgar's just the consistent factor for this team, and it's the positioning as well. And he's had some really tough calls, like when he ulted into halls and just got destroyed. These things happen, but...
This spy is really interesting, because obviously you got the Tour de Force next round for Artis, but they're actually almost saying that, okay, let's let Mech get to 12 with this buy, because you could have dropped a rifle over, played Tour de Force, had 4 guns, and then Xiao would have been in an awkward spot. Instead, they've wanted to give themselves the best opportunity by playing the rifle onto Artis here, and then juggling it over. And well, he's already found some value. Just getting out of there, a little bit close for Chronicle, but he's fast enough on the trigger. He's going to be able to remove one of the players on the other side.
Xiao's down below, shorty in hand, holding the double doors. Artis is going to have a big performance here.
He's sat in a poison orb. That's why he's 1 HP. They have a smoke down there, and he's just sitting in it with his HP bar going up and down every time they activate it. But I guess he knows for certain that nobody has got anywhere near that door.
Here's the thing, though. Artis is coming through mid. He's seen this is clear. That leaves Xiao then. What's he going to do from this position? He needs them to hold on to that control. That they will, but here comes the flank to take him down. They've made it through the holes at last. One good kill. What is he doing? He can't keep getting away with this. Headshot after headshot delivered. Sugetsu now struggling. 1 bullet left, running out. Reload on backside, and eventually he'll be dealt with. I don't know how the value is found again and again. There's 10 seconds left. They've got to run to the side. Angel's already caught one. 6 seconds remaining. He's getting right onto yellow. He's just going to try to stop this. Hold on.
No
He's
way.
actually stuck it. Full steal from Chronicle, but he's caught in the end regardless. And the round goes to FPX. Again, I have to give the credit to Sugetsu. A Sheriff on A site seems to be the winning formula for this player.
So, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. 7-5 half, right?
Yes.
In favor of FPX.
Yes.
They have 2 rounds.
Yes.
Both of them are Sugetsu headshotting 2 people as they walk into the A site.
With the Sheriff.
With the Sheriff, sorry.
Yes.
I should clarify that. I'm sure nobody has forgotten, but I will clarify anyway. So, basically, they only win rounds where he gets 2 kills with the Sheriff on his own on the site. I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think this is recreatable, Mitch. And if anybody disagrees with me, you can message Mitch Man on Twitter, because if you message me, you're getting a nasty response.
You want to play? Let's play.
Look, at the end of the day, this is 2 rounds out of 2 for FPX now. Sugetsu has a rifle, so I think we report him for trolling at this point. It's a guaranteed loss for FPX. Let's see if the formula holds up. Mech on their way through the doors. Doors are swinging open. Nades right down on top. Redgar's in trouble. Flash is coming through.
Dead.
That's a little... Oh, no. Yeah, he was holding close behind his own wall. Thought he had a sneaky play.
And they've managed to get onto the site. They're just waiting, if anything, for the fuel to come back up. Still a player in the corner. I don't know if they're going to expect just Chronicle just holding this deep, ready and waiting. The thing is, they can also tell if he sort of flashes back through. And there it is. Again, Lothar brought this up on the desk. The power of that paranoia just to disrupt anything that Angel wants to do. Potentially going to go for a peek back. It even corrects back in time. Leaving Artis holding on here. Even going to jump back over the head of Xiao. He'll get 1, but that is all. And 45 HP. An operator. He does have the Tour de Force for the next round, so might just want to give this a go, Mitch, but it's not easy by any stretch.
Oh, it's definitely not looking like a winning situation. Oh, God. There's been peaks from the site as well. I don't think there was any way for Artis to get away with that one. 12-9. and a map 3 of Fracture looking very likely right now. Tom, this has been a very strange series. If you came into today and told me that this team would dominate the attack, no way that they are.
Oh, he's got a rifle.
The only one with a Vandal. What's going on?
Well, that's the last man you want with a rifle right now.
Zip and an Angel about to get 2Ks each. They've got the Sheriff locked and loaded.
And they'll still lose.
Oh, Artis on the Tour de Force as well. Like a whole lot of opportunity for the FPX side. And they have to find the value. Just look at what Mech have to work with, though. 3 ultimates. And that Viper's Pit in particular, if Nats can get to a site, as we said, chances are incredibly low that they end up losing the round. Unless Nats starts peeking out the Viper's Pit like a lunatic.
Well, yeah. He's called no access to site for a reason, and when he has the Viper's Pit, I feel like that's almost confirmed. Again, very patient. They're going to know that some of the weaponry is a little bit weaker in this round for their opponents. The finance is red, and patiently waiting for some mistakes to be made. They've done well to shut down Artis, I'll be honest. I can't think of many... Well, we basically said that both rounds were won by Saigetsu with a pistol, so I can't think of any rounds where you would put the victory up to him. He needs to have something here already. We're going to see the util use the null command, trying to take everything away from the opposition, and he's gone. Artis is already out of there.
Seconds left.
It's a big pick to find right away. The Viper's Pit has now been found, and so has Xiao inside of it. I mean, Tom, at this point, I think Saigetsu's got to go to a secondary. He's got to swap weapons with one of these players for them to have a chance. Angel, but in a little bit of work, though. He's going to hop right back out of that decay. Get himself back up to full health. In fact, the ultimate coming through, an attempt, a big play, maybe, to come through. He's trying to find everyone, spotted 2 at least. And it leads to wild spams out of Zipban. Snake bites coming through. Good kill, and Shados comes in with a double. It's huge to close it out. They were so low inside the Viper's Pit. Mech have bought themselves another chance in this series, Tom. We're going all the way to Fracture. To be honest with you, man, I couldn't expect anything different. Looking at these two teams, looking at Mech actually showing up like this as well, I think we deserve a third map.
I will say maybe not in the manner, the way that they've done it, like winning nearly all of their rounds in the attack and only losing 2. If you came into the day predicting that, you're a little bit weird, but ultimately we've got exactly where we wanted to be. Fracture, I think it's going to be an absolute banger of a map, and honestly, I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, Tom, well, it's time to get there. We're going to throw things off to a break. When we come back, our analyst desk will set up this final map as we find out who goes all the way to Copenhagen.
What a way to bounce back from M3C. They equal the score and keep themselves in contention for Masters Copenhagen. I'm Yingsu and I'm back here with Lothar and Zesh. After the first map, you guys, you were a little bit worried. You know, the Valorant that we've seen wasn't the best quality, but what are your opinions after that map?
It's a little bit scrappy, I would say, but scrappy not in the sense that it is necessarily bad Valorant, but it feels just very different, for example, to our first best of 3 we have. Obviously, we have the 2 most slow teams or slower paced teams that we have overall in our league. Yeah, FPX used to be a bit faster on the attacking side specifically, but it still felt very interesting, in particular to see Redgar and the Omen, because I think in some rounds so far, that was kind of the change of it all.
So my first perception was that the Omen, you know, would be a good change if used correctly. And after few rounds of FPX attacking, I was like, okay, the Omen really is not being used to counter the composition from FPX the way that I thought it will be happening. But then suddenly it actually started to being used very well, and we have seen very impactful TPs and mid control from the Omen. Something that I mentioned in the pre-show, like smoking off Nest, going in with the TP there, taking control of Spawn by smoking off, and there's like Xiao, like completely confused, is the Omen there or not? So in general, it was a good pick in my eyes.
And particularly interesting, besides from the perspective of taking a certain agent, I think if there's one thing that saved you a bit on the attack side of your mech is Chronicle. The man was absolutely mental with 18 kills in those rounds. It's surely you don't always want to be like, yeah, individually super important, but with him getting so many frags day in, day out in this second half, man, that was kind of saving the team. And together with Redgar, I would say those 2 really were leading the pack.
You know, the problem was Chronicle was leading the pack, but they were allowed to follow Chronicle because the first rounds that FPX was playing, they had actually a huge advantage, but they threw 2 rounds in a row where Sugetsu just kind of like started this avalanche by peeking out of the Viper's pit, and that was a pivotal round. And the one after, exactly the same scenario, but without the Viper's pit. Like, those 2 rounds were so valuable for FPX, they completely threw up to the map.
I'm also so glad you both mentioned Redgar, because for me, it feels like Redgar, you can feel how much he wants this just by watching him. And he stepped up leaps and bounds in the playoff stage compared to what he was doing in the group stage.
I think he was really, really annoying on that attack side, as you mentioned, for example, the teleports and nest and everything. He very often enabled himself on the attacking side in the sense that it was your opponent not being 100% aware what is about to happen. And that was really the fun part to me about him. On defense, he was working a lot with those one-ways, particularly towards B main, where he was trying to really lock that position out all on his own. That didn't work too well overall, but I'm still surprised.
Redgar's ADR was actually the same as Defo's and Nats combined.
He's doing
171.
a 3-man job Redgar's doing.
Yeah, and he's playing Omen. He doesn't have a single piece of utility that deals damage. Everything goes with his weapon. There's no defragment on the KO. There's no from KO, or there's no snakebite from the Viper here.
Yeah, really impressive showing the Redgar put on. And Lothar, I know that there were actually some interesting things that you spotted from that map as well.
Yes, and from what I have heard, Tom was also alluding to those situations here, like where the Omen actually counters the Yoru with the Paranoia. If someone was paying attention to the pre-show, I mentioned that as a possibility because the Paranoia is one of those key pieces of utility that can literally just go through walls. So here, look at the TP going into the onto the pillar, and then Paranoia just makes completely Angel like out in the open. There's only one thing in this situation that the Yoru can do, and that is use his clone in that situation. That should be like the satchel reaction that we have seen from Alphayer, right? You are being countered by utility, you have to do something yourself, and that's not a reload, by the way. That should be the clone to do something. And then second situation here, exactly the same. There's the flash to be an initiation. Paranoia completely catches Angel off guard, right? And he can't really do much in this situation. And also, why I thought that Mac is not prepared to counter the Yoru and learn from what Angel was doing in the previous maps is because I saw this first round where they were literally just standing on site like they never played against Yoru. This is like the simplest TP play that a Yoru can do, and they were completely caught off guard. Redgar was just absolutely demolished. So I was like, uh-oh, that's gonna be tough. But it actually managed to turn around in this later parts of the game. But I want to show you something.
Oh, no,
okay? I want to show you something. Like, clearly, bullets 1 to 5 clearly missed. You know, 6 to 9 bad recoil control, and well, then we have the bullet 10 to 15. It's it's a combination of spread and like it's clearly missing. And then when it's ending, well, obviously Angel was already dead and it didn't connect from the server. You know, that's about it.
Absolutely, because Valorant has very dedicated spray pattern so far, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
Super accurate.
Super absolutely the case. No, it was still something where I would say that it was not the best showing from FPX because I think the Yoru can be used better. I think this is something where I expected the Yoru to be. And then I would say that, right? That I would be the one saying that. But yeah, I think it was still not Angel really living up to the expectations because I think if they would have started with a significantly better attack round, so then it would have been a better option. But sometimes Mac took it even with milliseconds left.
Also want to just add that Yoru not one on the map, so your bingo card so far, not doing great, Lothar, but you have been doing your push-ups, which is
I actually forgot to do the push-ups for this map.
Oh, okay, so that's
I did
over.
for the previous maps, but I forgot for this one.
That is over. And speaking of maps, we're going to be moving on to Fracture, which I feel like maybe you can do 20 onto Fracture just to make up for it.
If I'm allowed, yeah, maybe I can.
Okay, well, we'll speak to Enrico. We'll see if you're allowed to do that. But when it comes to Fracture, I can't believe it. This is the map that it comes down to when it comes to qualification for Masters.
Well, and that's the map where FPX played 2 different compositions in the past 2 Fractures, none of them particularly looking very strong. So now the question is is this going to decide FPX fate? I mean, in some way it will. So, but will it be successful?
I mean, considering their composition, to quickly catch on to that, they played that one versus Fnatic that was horrible. I mean, that was the Euro one. Sorry, it was Euro, but it didn't really work. And ever since they played the same composition where they added the Fade, like with a few weeks advance, with a few days advance, I remember very much Doombro saying that they have implemented that Fade. And I think I like the Fade because, hear me out, you're going to find that odd, it reminds me a lot of the Sky of Yampi. Because Sky, yeah, hear me out. Hear me out. No. It is very much like the Sky of Yampi. It is very much like the Sky of Yampi because he's always doing that very much for information control very early on. How you would usually use a Sova on other maps, for example, but you cannot do it on this map. Yep. And I think it works quite well in this instance because, first of all, Shao is very talented on that agent, absolutely. And second of all, it is something that FPX needs a lot, is that map control over on such a big map with so many entrances.
You're right, Fade is a great pick on this map because she's able to control the space just like Sova and Sky would do, but also she is not, let's say, limited by the vision aspect with her ultimate, which is something that we can compare to some degree with Breach on this map, but it's completely different like usage and different kind of pressure that Fade creates. But she is very efficient at this map, which also, because Raze, historically speaking, is used on this map a lot, there's a little potential synergy here that it was already used before, right? And you can just combo on top of it. The problem is, FPX, will Zipan play on Raze or will he play on KO?
Right? Exactly. If there's going to be a change or not once more, because once more we had 5 days. And that's enough for FPX to come up with something brand new. Yeah. It would be a bit of a surprise if they would swap away from something that I personally found fairly successful, right? Because I think this would be one of those maps right here where we don't see any compositional changes from both parties because both work quite well, particularly in the past 2 times with these compositions they have. So it would be a surprise for me if there's going to be change.
I mean, we've seen 2 brand new comments from Mech already today. They kind of debuted 2 new ones on the 2 maps they played so far, but I'm with you. It feels like maybe this is where we don't see changes, but this is also the most important map of both of these teams this entire year.
I mean, this is the thing, right? It was Redgar pretty much saying if we don't make it right here to Masters, I don't know what we would do. Yeah. And that's like a big statement in the interview you've made. So it really leaves me with this impression. Let's hope there's no pressure there for Mac, but the same goes for FPX, right? They have technically never attended an offline event, and they still seek to do so. Yeah, technically they never did.
Yeah, you're right. But we are into the agent select now, and so far we have...
Well, there we go. Lover, look at that. Look at that. We have a Viper in this.
Viper
we have suddenly a Viper in this.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, Zipan is on the race. Okay. Chronicle is as on the previous iteration of the Fraction on the race as well.
What is it this time, fellas?
Okay. But FPX, I mean, I like the composition, but I have to worry that, again, this is a composition that would just be played of like, you know, like improvised, you know?
I'm worried about Mech.
But I think it could work very well due to the reason that consider how Mac always plays attack. Consider how much you can deny space last second with those agents like Raze, like Fade, and like something like Viper in combination.
I mean, I'm with you, Vincent. I like it.
Fade and Viper together, combining the DK is so powerful. Yeah. It's insanely tough to even go through in many spots. And the ultimate from Shao here might actually pay dividends, specifically if he will be saving the Prowlers for the actual retake or execute, something that we just didn't see from other teams. But in general, I like the composition. I'm just worried that something that Angel said, right? They play like 2-3 screams and it's like, oh, okay, right? Are they going to be efficient?
How tested they are, essentially.
Exactly.
Well, I'm a little bit worried about Meg. I'm trying not to be, but this is it. Like we said, the winner is going to be going to Masters and the loser will be eliminated from playoffs. Mitch and Tom, take it away.
Well, Tom, a big game is in front of us now. Whichever team we end up sending, I know it's going to be a fantastic representation of the region, but which way are you leaning coming into this final map?
I always believe in Zipan's Raze. I have done since the beginning, and I will do forever, I think. I think it was one of the things I mentioned in the Fnatic series that I think that playing a series where he isn't put onto that Raze is only a detriment to your own matchup. And the thing is, it very could have happened here as well, but the fact is they switched their composition up because this man is a superstar, because this man can take those fights. And honestly, I believe in him man for man, pound for pound. Chronicle has been fantastic, but if there's going to be a difference maker, I'm looking at him.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, going all the way back to the days of Zipan Go Kill, man. This is where we fell in love with this man on this agent, and now we get to see it
Yet again, combining up with Xiao, a player who has some of the best utility usage out there. And right away, I'm looking towards this north side on B. I think Arcade's going to have a little bit of a crunch going down on it. Xiao and Zipan both here. You got Angel around this B side too. And for a second, I thought that Mech were going to be going for it, but actually they used a little bit of control early and then whoop, back over across this zip line to regroup and potentially take a push.
Yeah, I think one of the things we always talked about with FPX was their ability to overcomplicate things and that costing them games. I like the fact that, if anything, in this composition, they are going back to the basics. They're putting players on the agents I think they're strongest on, and that might just be what they've gone for here. They're almost like that Dota 2 OG style. Artist, though, in position already, is going to slam Chronicle straight into the ground. The first pick of the game is up. And now, while this push on towards the A site, not looking quite as likely.
Now, these players on A are grouped up as well. You've got Sagetsu and Artist underneath the site ready to take the fight. Rotation's already through and spawn. Really, this is a pick your poison. You're going to Mech go towards the site and get crunched, or try to take a fight on one end or another. And it's Zipan that's now under pressure. The nade actually buys him the space completely. It sends them back towards the site itself, and they have no idea about the stack that's here waiting. Now it's time to find out. No kill for them to start. Sagetsu in with some damage, some huge damage, in fact. He follows up with easy kills on the right click. That's a triple to put the pistol into FPX's favor.
Yeah, the nasty bait and switch. The point was for Artist to escape and the switch to come through without him dying, but I guess Sagetsu got the job done anyway. Now, for FPX, I don't think I'm going to get it, Mitch, but I really want them to play this one a little bit safer. We've already seen them have troubles with the conversion of their secondary rounds because of the risks that they take. Now, they are going to go for the SMGs, but they're still keeping the pistols. So the fact is the rifles are not making an appearance in this round either, but they still have the danger, which I don't think I like that more.
Oh, close. Redgar's already dropped Angel. Fantastic start for them. Artist should be able to escape out of here easily enough. Good damage dealt to the other side. Shados now down very low. Nade and stun. It's dangerous. Sagetsu's stuck. They'll make it back. Minus 80 now. It makes it easier for Chronicle. And that follow-up is there. Mech, they're still bringing a fight to this round, Tom.
And it's not the scenario we normally talk about where it's, it's okay, they've still got the 3 rifles to play behind. They don't. They've got 3 SMGs. Now, granted, it means nothing's been given over onto the other side, but there's also risks! An Artist just walks out into the open. Sure, there's only 1 bullet left in that Headhunter, but now they even know roughly where Xiao's going to be. A plant looking inevitable. He will be able to deny one, but it's almost faked out by Nats escaping. This nade may even kill him off, though, and actually trapped in the corner. It's combined to bring this back into a 2 versus 2, a round that never really should have been close. FPX seemingly starting to stabilize.
But that plan still has to be found from Mech, right? And that's where FPX get the advantage if Nats isn't able to complete this flank, but his timing is perfect. Xiao, though, turning and spotting him. The shot for Shados never gonna land. And 2-0 we go. FPX get the round win, but it is yet again not as clean as you would like. And this time they might actually feel the effect of that in a little bit more of a severe way than before.
Bear in mind, though, it's similar to what we had before, where they can now invest 2 players at least into the rifles.
Yeah.
So you're going to have Sagetsu and Angel still with that kind of bonus. I understand the logic behind it, especially when you go for the rifles. I think in this map in particular, it doesn't warrant the same level of risk, but it's more so that you almost lose that round. And in this series, they have lost one of those rounds. So it is scary times. Ults, none of them particularly close. Zipan needing 3 orbs, and okay, we are playing Fracture, but you can see the default that's being held almost just to deny any of those from being taken. And actually, the defensive side's actually taking quite a bit of space here.
Big flash over, forcing them back off the angles. FPX lose a little bit of space, but Artist is, well, he wants to go back out for it. Make them pay for that control. We're seeing the same attempt here. Chronicle obviously realizing the damage that he did in the previous round, and a spam through the box to take him down. That's ridiculous. Oh, he's paid a heavy price for lobbing that nade.
Oh, utility denied. that will give Nats a little bit of extra space to push up. The problem is 45 seconds left. Don't really have much ground to play with. They've managed to at least put pressure on Saigetsu, who still has a rifle and wins that duel as well. He's been surviving in an awkward spot for a ridiculously long time, and now they're going to try and double back in towards A. The thing is, though, this is almost looking like a retake setup up until the point where Xiao takes a step in.
Oh, hold on. Shados is coming across that rope, but just take a look at Artis. He's been getting aggressive again and again, and this time I think he might just make it there in time. That's the spike. He's got him cut off already, but he won't hit the shot. Shados just barely makes it. 10 seconds left, and they've got to make a move into that site. They've got to rush it down, run it down, and well, FPX are losing players by the second. What is this? Saigetsu's the last
he ran out of time,
but they still end up with the round.
Honestly, that fight with Artis might have actually changed it. I think they just realized at the end that they just didn't have enough time, and while they almost fumbled it, FPX, with like some of those late round fights, but I guess maybe just in the knowledge that any sort of disruption to them getting towards that site was enough for the round to slip away. That is a massive fumble on the other side. And well, they've got to be absolutely kicking themselves. Some late rotations. I guess they didn't want to risk the run through Dish, but ultimately the time was lost when they went very slowly across that zip line.
Yes, that's exactly it. I don't think not going Dish with the spike alone, I'm behind. But it's the zip line halfway, gotta just let go, start speeding it. You know, the time was so low, and I guess the problem was they were so worried about someone coming through the door or the utility stopping them, whatever. But wow, they dug their own grave on that one. Chronicle going down to start this one as well leaves FPX with an advantage, and that's exact opposite of what you want if you're mech. Coming in here, invest in what they can. Oh, Redgar, sneaky play through the smoke. He's going right up next to them, and Zipline saw the barrel.
Better.
That's his luck. Again, still having impact, but Saigetsu has just been a rock within this site. So confident playing this Viper. I think the difference you see when he's on this agent is just grotesque. Even on 2 HP, just switching up his angle every single time. Well, Defo, good luck, my friend. Even he can't find him. Saigetsu on another spot where it had to be an instant headshot, and no one can kill this man at the moment.
Very dominant start to this defensive side. And, well, 7-1 Saigetsu, 3 ults online, plenty of credits in the back pocket. And the thing is, Mech, sure, they had that little bit of an overflow. 3 players able to buy coming into this. Nats having a tour de force to play with. You're obviously going to invest into this round, but starting to dominantly lose rounds as well, which is sort of the thing. I think FPX having the reins, having control can't be allowed. So Mech have to dig deep here to, well, make sure they never get anywhere close to what happened in the previous round. Just getting all the duels and losing the time. It's one of the worst ways to trip yourself up.
Yeah, the problem now, though, is that you look at ultimate economy, the ones that you really want on the other side. Okay, Rolling Thunder's pretty good. Nats is going to have the tour de force. It's helpful, but when you look at the way he plays, a lot of it is just late lurk. So it's not like he's going to really be finding you an opener unless that gap is sort of exploited again. Showstopper not available either. From the shadows, rare occurrence. That's going to have impact. And then you look at the other side of Viper's Pit and a Showstopper, and you have the tour de force as well. So I'm even just not liking the look of this round for Mech, and they can't allow it to go 5-0. Like, a strong start for FPX is something that they've at least had on a map or two, but ultimately it's been a very back and forth series with no real, I would say, dominant leads.
As you said, Nat's very slow on that play stall with the operator. He's going to be creeping his way towards the B side to start things off. FPX having dish control. They're now starting to pull back from that. Oh, no, excuse me. They're not. I should have looked. It's Artis, of course. He's staying aggressive up there on top dish. Has a TP, though, to very quickly get him towards that B site if they need some help. For now, though, Mech not committing to anything. This very much feels like a Mech round. They are playing it so slow and moving through the map to try and find some of these angles where they know or they can find out their opponents are holding an angle or maybe going to take a risky peek or something like that. But as we've seen from FPX again and again, if they have that tiny bit of aggression like Artis on dish, they don't feel the need to overextend in that first minute and a half. They will literally sit there like their feet are planted into the floor.
But the thing is as well, they've utilized the Prowlers to give them any information they needed, and then left this Viper's pit just waiting for contact. There is literally 25 seconds to try and clear this man out of position. Rolling Thunder might make it a little bit easier, but Saigetsu is just sat outside. They need to kill him off, and they haven't found him. He's still just dancing around in the back. He even has his gun right in front of his face, of course. A graphical error, but Zipan's done work, and now Saigetsu could strike again. They just can't seem to deal with him. Every time, just an annoyance surviving at the back of the site. And while FPX had a plan ready, set, and put into motion.
And the real issue, Sugetsu, on that way back in, he has his Viper's Pit. He still has 2 snake bites as well, and only ended up using 1. You know, you said it, there was 20 seconds left, and that was when he threw down his first snake bite. And so Mech, not only do they have to deal with him in the pit, but they also have to get by that utility, navigate around it. Their teammates are shooting at them as they do so. The Showstopper's lined up and fired out. Chronicle completely lost his place in this, I think, planar existence. He didn't know where he was. And Angel quickly punished. Oh, Angel's in the same boat. Caught in a door frame. And it works for them. Almost as if they'd planned it, Tom.
Yeah, I guess that is the almost nicety he has of just having Xiao and Zipan around. It's like, hey, you know what? I've just made a big blunder. And Zipan's like, no worries, I'll just headshot everyone as they run around the corner. There you go, Angel, a little pat on the back. Like, it's so ridiculous. And Xiao as well. Well, they are just thriving. And as said, like, when I looked at this comp at the beginning, I'm thinking comfort. Like, that's what I think of all the agents that are currently in play for FPX. Has anything looked out of spot just yet, other than Angel TPing into a wall?
Yeah, but okay, even then, Angel in that position, he blinded up the player, he killed him, and he goes out for more. Manages to get out of that fight, gets caught in a door frame, realizes I'm now stuck in this door frame. I'm going to die. This person is right behind me. So he jumps out, strafes to the left, takes out a shrouded step, and had started the TP to the right. So that guy swings wide to kill him on the left, and then he's on the right, and then Zipan's killing him. He managed to, like, the mechanical brilliance in that moment from Angel, that first 10 seconds, was just fantastic. And, like, yes, Zipan got the kill, and they did so well to set themselves up like that, but I also think if Angel doesn't start shadow boxing like that, never happens. There's Zipan just annoying them and showing that at no point on this map, Mech are going to be allowed to feel even remotely comfortable.
Okay, they've TP'd into the A site. I think it's just a ruse. The thing is, though, it hasn't sold anything. They've got dish control. They know that main might have some pressure. You can see how deep towards the arcade they're playing. They've got the trap down into B. Like, every ruse that is attempting to be sold by Mech has been predicted on the other side. The entries from Chronicle...
30 seconds left.
I don't remember him even getting a kill yet.
Cover going out.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. It's very high praise for Chronicle previous map. This one around, the struggle's been there. That's traded out immediately. Defo, though, on the case. Nade is going to be a problem. 13 seconds left. Nade pushes them out of the site. Costs them a bit more time, but Sugetsu won't be able to do anything about this. They do pop the Showstopper just to be sure.
Bodyguard.
In a 3v1, the sheer fear that was felt to pop that Showstopper, I think FPX can still look at that as, you know, a late round success, but certainly not going to be happy with just getting rolled over in those early fights.
Yeah, and it's been a rough start. Like, Nat's actually sent in on the entry here, and that was enough to almost just disrupt at least a little bit. Nade attempted, I can see why, but the clock wasn't anywhere near as low, and then it just ended up as hero play after hero play. Don't know if we needed that to be slow mode. I think everyone knows what happened, but hey, you know, just in case anybody missed the fact that he was hit by a bazooka, he was hit by a bazooka.
Explosions look cool, Tom.
Yeah. But what I've heard is that cool guys don't look at them.
Oh, damn. Pretty sure Zil observed that one, so unlucky. On our way out to site, little bit of suppression for Angel, but he doesn't seem to care all too much. Operator on site of Xiao, picking up kill after kill. Oh, no. Uh-oh. That's a little bit of mistiming on that one. And so we end up back into, well, relatively even scenarios. Maybe not. Redgar's now basically alone.
Oh no, he's just hoping he can find something while completely blind. Still a minute left on the clock and they're surrounding him. You can see the push coming all the way back through. No from the shadows or anything of the sort, and hoping to try and challenge the player on ropes. The thing is, though, they're having none of it. They're not giving him an angle, and they're just slowly waiting for Artis to catch this cross back into the site. A way through seeming impossible, and in fact, the other players have just doubled back up. Only really one place he could be. He's going to try and fake out the doors, but I don't know. It seems like they have at least rotated one more. Artis is waiting just in case.
7 rounds for FPX already. Look, I want to believe that Mech's defense is going to be stellar. I do, but that's not the team we've seen so far. It certainly isn't. I do think I would be surprised if they're this flat in the first 8 rounds of defense, but
the thing is that, like, even looking back, obviously, again, it was a change-up of compositions, but in their victory versus Liquid, it was 8 rounds on the attacking side. Again, like, the games they've won, they did most of the heavy lifting on that attack, so I am very worried for them at this point. And FPX, they haven't missed a beat. As said, everybody's had their moments, everybody's had their standout rounds. Going towards this B site just seems like death because of how strong Saigetsu's been on that side of the map. You've had Zipan and Artis just running riot, and that's before we even talk about Xiao. Oh, it's dirty! He hears it coming and thinks, well, no one's going to expect me to peek this. Saigetsu with a freebie. Good trade from Defo, though.
yeah, really nice play. The right-click flash just perfect. That one not so perfect there from Nats, unfortunately. He's found out that the op is very much still in the same position as last round and very much still hitting shots like last round. So 4v3 comes of it, and Mech, again, having to recover this disadvantage. And there's the info. Angel's about to see 2. Oh, no, he's just going to kill them as they come on through.
It's as free as it gets. An attempt to just walk out of the smoke. Even lands the shot onto Shadow, some more defo. Nothing that can really be done here. Now, I'm curious if they'll continue to play what has been somewhat of a double operator setup at times, because no, they are. They're going to buy another one. That's the thing that I will say. Like, if a team is able to run double operator on Fracture, I think you're the ones doing something wrong, because it's a map where there's so many fast-paced opportunities to try and isolate these duels. And the fact that FPX feel comfortable enough that you're going to play things slowly, that they can run a double op on defense, that's where I start to call into question like what Mech are doing. Because yeah, they had a faster pace round not too long ago, and I think that's the furthest they've got. So I want to see something like that again, because if you allow a team to just, okay, I'm gonna work the pick towards the stairs, I'm gonna sit back and just almost peek into A main, they're getting too much info and too much control.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think that Mech, wanting to play that slower style, wanting to play the sort of spread out, will play for some of these angles and play slowly into them, try to chip away at the control. I mean, a double op setup is perfect to deal with that. They just constantly have the position to take these angles, lock down parts of the map, and fall back off of those positions, set up again, and be ready to take the duel. And that's looking at just like general opping. Then you think about the fact that it's Artis as one of those operators, and he's missed a couple shots so far. I think he's had a few mechanical failures. This guy isn't even popping off, and yet, you know, FPX are this dominant. There's a lot of scary signs there, and that's unfortunate. I appreciate that though. That happens to me literally all the time. You make it so like there's a pre-round blast pack button and it's different to the normal one.
Oh yeah.
What, dude?
Yeah.
You hit Q all the time. It's I have big fingers.
People could just use it to early blast pack. That's a terrible idea. Don't ever listen to Mitch, man. He wants Raze to just be completely abused.
Nade up. No stun. Nothing to keep Zipan there. And the punishment.
Same again. They just can't force him off the angle. No matter. That's the same battle that Artis has taken multiple rounds in a row. Zipan, oh, he's not going to check below. And actually, they're wrapping around behind him. But I was going to say, Nats didn't initially hit the shot. He's going to get his tour de force. Oh, Critical looks away. Timing could be worth. Nats' tour de force is gone. And well, they've got some rifles.
Oh, but Shadows hasn't looked down below him. I think he actually did put down the stun at the start of the round, but the kill was definitely not found from it. As we finish things off, 9-1 FPX. They're not even making this a competition at this point. It is looking like the last 2 maps was some sort of charade I don't know how to even process what's happening to Mech right now, because they have so many opportunities here, and when they come into duels, they don't look like themselves.
All I'm gonna say is, FPX, I know you like to switch up comps. You like to sort of adapt on the fly, have multiple things you can run. Please stick with this one. I like this one. It doesn't even look like Mech have got close to them in this map on the defensive side.
I'd love to see a Yoru in there as well.
Off your feet!
Yeah, no, this is a nice one. Zipan's tucked in.
And actually sticks around. Oh, it's going to run out just in time. TP behind him, but the kill is free. That's the spike down. The rest of the players went through the door, and he's just wrecking them as they try and come back through. It's a couple of kills, but a single kill on the execution after that. Well, this is what I mean. Like, the confidence you see on Zipan when he's playing the session. Don't get me wrong. His KO's been fantastic today as well. It's not like it's just a poor agent for him and he should be on this all the time, but the difference level from him, I don't know. I'd said, they're currently playing against some of the best players in the world. Chronicle, we've spoke about as a fantastic switch to the duelist. He currently has 3 kills. He has done nothing in the last, like, 5 rounds.
That can all change when side swap, Tom, but if you got 1 round...
It can.
It's all...
Oh! Every round he's there. I don't know why there hasn't been a breach stun or something to try and kill him off. Thankfully, they're going to use it elsewhere to get a double kill back, Mitch.
Yeah, they've been trying this a couple of times up in heaven based off the nade, because FPX... sorry, because Mech have had so much success with it before, but FPX never ended up falling to it. This time, a little bit of a different approach, and certainly one that finds a lot of value. We end up with this final round seeing a situation where FPX... I don't see them getting into this one all too easily. 2 quick kills, though. Maybe they are going to get right back into it. 10-2 at the half, Tom. Look, it's not a great half for Mech. Things look pretty bleak for them moving forward. I think it's fair to say this pistol is pivotal.
Yeah, and they've only won 1 so far in this series. So, yeah, optimism needs to be coming through if you're a Mech fan right now, because this is the other thing as well. You have Zipan now going into the attack side with a raise. You've got a decent amount of supportive utility that will be able to help him as well in the form of Xiao, who has also been great so far in this map. I don't believe. I've seen many a comeback from Mech. I've seen many a comeback on the defensive side, but I don't know. That's one of the most definitive halves I think we've seen. Actually, I'd say that is the most definitive half we've seen in the playoffs.
It's not even about the score, Tom. It's about how it feels. This game just felt FPX dominant from the get-go here on this map. Now, we've had Zipan absolutely nuclear in a number of pistol rounds so far. More than half of them. We've seen him taking himself a multi-kill. Now I want to see that not happen. I want to see Mech do something.
I want to see him fail.
Let's go.
Just said.
Hey, listen, I do want to see him fail, at least in this pistol, because I want a chance for Mech. I want them to at least get a buy round out, and there's a possibility they won't. We go nade up, FPX taking the space, and I'll look for the B site for sure now.
Redgar, he's about to be surrounded. His teammates need to give him a little bit of help. The flash is superb, but Zipan still gets the kill. Mitch wanted a failure of the young Swede. It hasn't happened in this round, at least. Already getting a kill. Xiao will be traded out by Chronicle, though. The spike dropped is a problem. Chronicle starting to step up, and this nade could actually clear the position of Zipan, who looks to try and reaggress. Now, the problem is, it still has not been retrieved, and Chronicle is just peeking onto that cross. They have a couple of players there, and repositioning all the way back to the other side will take an awful lot of time to do so. They're almost just playing the bait game, hoping that someone falls and rotates. They have not.
Oh, little tag onto the arm of Chronicle there. He was winding up that nade. Zipan's caught Chronicle now as well, following up onto him. Another for Zipan. Oh! Come on, man! How can he do this every single time? It's just ridiculous.
Even with Mitch pulling out his little voodoo doll and trying to curse him as much as possible, Zipan still comes out with 4 kills off the back of it. He had 40 HP from this. He was blinded low from this point onwards and gets 3 more kills in a 2 versus 3 scenario. A round that looked almost unwinnable. but this man wants to make his way to Copenhagen. They were robbed last time based on circumstances completely out of their control. And wow, 2 rounds is all Mech have and is all FPX need.
We could finally see the day after how many years of Valorant where we get Angel out of LAN event. It's so close, and Mech are starting to resist it with some pistols, some SMGs. There's not a lot of hope in this round. They need to find some openings to start things off. They can't allow FPX to just mow them down, as this has been the case before. They're ready with a flash to pop out of heaven to punish Angel. They've heard him TP close and take him down, and that's what they will for free. Zipan a little bit late to the corner, and that's the opening pick that Mech so desperately needed.
Yeah, bear in mind, FPX have not saved any cash here. They've gone for rifles and SMGs. There's no pistols this time. Saigetsu, a nice shot onto the cross. Shados in trouble, but still takes one with him, and Defo, given an opportunity, will keep that man advantage alive at least a little bit longer. His teammates slowly making that rotation through the backlines. Now, the weaponry they have doesn't really give them much of a choice in long-range duels, so in fact, they're going to throw in a little bit of utility just to try and section them off. The time as well is a main issue here for FPX, as they will be isolated and that lifeline will be gathered up.
Well, Mech certainly not doing too well when it comes to pistols, but they've managed to find it this time around on round number 2. Now look, there's a chance for them for sure, but one hell of a long road ahead of them.
Rounds than pistols.
Yes, that they have.
10 seconds left.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, this time around, Tom, I don't think they're quite out of the hot water yet. You know, FPX on attack, ability to group up, play these pistols together, Artist with the Headhunter. And it looks like this is going to be a, well, I was going to say a clean B split, but maybe this is more orb play, because we've got some control for Dish, some control for B main as well. And it's actually going to be approached quite slowly.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you get Zipan the orbs here, you're not in a bad position at all in terms of his showstopper. Chronicle, though, is also only one away, and it seems like Artist is actually going to farm one up just to try and get closer to the Tour de Force. Of course, that's something I think more for down the line than anything else. Shados, though, is already going to kill off Angel. A solo play being made in towards Dish, and doesn't really tell much information on the other side. You can see that this is almost just patient waiting for anybody to try and peek in on that cross, and while it's as free as a kill can be.
Unlucky Zipan, not going to get away with that orb, and Defo ends up finding himself a quad kill. 11-4. That's the round that Mech needed, but they were up against pistols, you know? They one that should look easy, one that they make look easy. I certainly had my concerns. This time around, even more so. You know, the rifles come to play. And I think they're starting to see this player up in heaven. That's 2 rounds in a row now, playing up close, ready on the contact. I feel like we're going to see a little bit of a punish on that. But Mech have also swapped it up.
Don't worry.
Early control taken in towards Dish. Now, ult-wise, the only one online actually sits with the null command in Defo's hands, and, well, we know that Showstopper's not far away. And in fact, I think they're going to get that online for Chronicle right now. Nothing that can really be done on the other side to challenge that, but they do have to be a little bit careful with the fallback, because by the looks of it, Zipan might be about to try and challenge here.
Zipan's actually all the way into the site. He's taking the control. Here's a showstopper, but he gets flanked out, taken down. Still the kill for his trouble. Oh! And Mech are putting up one hell of a fight. In trouble now,
Oh
though.
my god!
Zipan somehow stepping it up yet again. 3 kills on the board, a 4th man lying on the floor, waiting for a res. And it's Nats to try and flank this out. A good angle, but Angel was watching it. 12-4 we go, and it's another 4K for Zipan to close the round. This guy, he's just something else.
Yeah, I'm sure there's still people out there just discovering the man that is Zipan, but for anybody who didn't know this, their old roster name was Zipan Go Kill. That was the original team that basically just revolved around this young superstar. We've never got to see him on LAN before. One of the things I was hoping for within this tournament is that we get Leo first time, Zipan first time. One round, and that becomes a reality. Again, there's a purchase here for Mech, a chance for them to fight back, but they need 8 rounds in a row to keep their dreams alive. The Masters 3 champions potentially not making it to a Masters this year, but they're getting aggressive, Mitch, looking to try and fight, and they've already been shut down.
Oh, FPX, it looks like it's within their grasp now. Just 3 more players to take down. And they'll be booking their flights in just a couple of moments. Looks like they're going to make their way towards the A site. The flank up through north side, though, is strong. Shados has a great angle on Artis. He's close to the wall, so he's not seen from above. The timing, not too great as Defo spots him and takes him down. Angel, having his teleport online now, can get back to his teammates if he needs it. Well, he's going to use himself like a recon, clear out this, at least bottom of A site. Now they can grab themselves a plant. Look to close this out in the 4v3.
Yeah, I think the main thing to talk about is how this Rolling Thunder is going to be utilized. Will they try and reclaim ground? Look how deep you currently have the positioning of Saigetsu. He would avoid that utility completely, and if they throw it onto the site, closing down those jewels is not going to be easy. Instead, they try and clear out some of these positions. The peek from Angel, though! He might have just put this one to bed! FPX, for the second time, will make their way to Masters. Last time, robbed of the ability to attend. We have to hope this time they can make it.
Well, let's hope we see them on that LAN event, Tom. What a historic game for FPX if they do make it all the way. They did it on the back of picking up that Yoru. We loved seeing that one. And now moving on to the final map, it was just sheer and utter dominance, Tom, from the word go. Zipan on a raise. We've waited so long to see it. We've wanted it. We begged for it. 22-8. The man couldn't have delivered a better performance. And what a way to send them off to that LAN event. And another heartbreak for Mech, of course, but they've been up and down this season, Tom, and I think this is the result the majority of us expected.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the FPX have firmly put themselves as what I would say the second best team in EMEA, Guild, and them fighting for that spot, and Fnatic being the one leading the charge. But I think we got the 3 teams we wanted, if I'm being honest, in terms of consistency, in terms of ability, and in terms of how I think they're going to perform. Of course, we do have to decide ourselves the player of the match, though, Mitch. I think, I'll be honest, until this last map, it was tough. I think decisions could have gone either way. I think Saigetsu Angel, they could have been in there. Zipan's the player.
Yeah, listen.
The performance he had here was unbelievable.
Yeah, this is the map that qualifies them, and he just put the team in his backpack. My God. And plus, add on the pistols they keep on winning. I don't think FPX have a great win rate. I think Zipan has a great win rate in pistols. The 4Ks that he just keeps on pulling out. Dude's just unbelievable. What a fantastic game for FPX. And Tom, they have now qualified for Copenhagen. We know what 3 teams we're sending to Masters. There's still more to be decided over the coming days in terms of how that seeding is going to work and who's going to be joining Fnatic up in that grand final. For now, though, Tom, we're done. We've covered it all. We're going to toss things off to the analyst desk after this commercial break. I'll be closing out the show, setting up the next couple of days. We'll see you soon.
What a statement from FPX. They close out map 3 and will be heading to Masters Copenhagen. I'm Yingsu and I'm bringing you guys a post-match interview with Xiao from FPX. Hi Xiao, welcome back to the show. Again, massive congratulations. You qualified for yet another LAN event. But it does feel like this season it's been a little bit more challenging for you guys. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we are completely agree with this. So we just going like through death group first, and after this we had like really hard match against Fnatic in upper bracket in playoff, and now we just here in Copenhagen. So I'm just happy.
Why do you feel like it's been a little bit tougher for you this season compared to last season?
I don't know. I think like Fnatic, for example, it's our like basically this team only could win us, like easily, let's say. But they had new team, so I think it's like some honeymoon period, So
Well, it doesn't matter. You qualified. That's all that matters for you guys right now. But I do want to ask you about, how tough it's been having to not go to the last land, missing out on that, coming back in EMEA, and then having to do it all over again just to prove that the last time wasn't a fluke and you are actually one of the best teams in this region.
Actually, I don't want to remind myself about last LAN because we couldn't go. So I'm just happy that we could make it again. It's like we are S-tier team, and I'm really proud of what job we put in it. So you see, top 3 at least.
Yeah, I mean, we're really proud of you as well. I absolutely cannot wait to see you guys perform at Copenhagen. But I do want to ask you something about the in-game aspect. You're one of the players that's been consistently playing Fade. I think everybody's been stealing your stuff. I think you know that as well. Talk to me how much you're enjoying Fade. What do you think of this agent compared to the other agents you play?
When was Fade out from in game, I said to Angel, I'm ready to play any map on this agent. So that's why we try to put that agent. I think I played every map on Fade, except Pearl, new one. But let's see, maybe it's gonna be also cool.
Oh, I look forward to that for sure. Your next opponent, though, it's going to be Guild. You haven't faced them yet. They've also been looking pretty strong. Of course, they fell to Fnatic earlier today. What do you make of Guild right now as an opponent?
To be honest, I don't know. I wasn't thinking about Guild at all. Just our goal, for today and for whole tournament, it was to qualify to Denmark. So after the interview, I will think about the Guild. So let's see.
I'll see you on the server tomorrow, Shower. Thank you so much for joining me and congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. See you guys.
I heard a movement over there, Lothar. I heard you shifted a little bit at one of his answers. What was that about?
I was like, wait, did he play Fade on every single map? I was like, wait, I have to check my notes and so on because I don't think they played Fade on Breeze, right?
They did.
They did?
They did.
They did today.
Okay, yeah.
Very often used for elbow information.
I'm just very old, okay? And I did 30 push-ups in the green room, okay? So
I do like the proactiveness of all of the Fade players in this region. Enzo, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Going to his IGL, being like, hey, I'm ready to play Fade. Please let me do this. And both of them have been tremendous.
It feels a lot like a character trait with people, right? Where you are personally being the one who says, you know what, I want to try something that is super difficult to really master. And that is the thing, right? You really have to have this individual state of being like, I want to try something out. And that is wonderful. I guess this is what Chao has proven. I mean, he had a big challenge last time around when he had to IGL instead of Angel, right? And he has shown he's just grown as a character a lot. That was really impressive. But getting back to the map, of course, it felt a lot like the worst elements of Mac. You remember our little tirade we had, our little speech at the beginning, was actually just all combined in this map. It absolutely felt like one of the worst Mac performances we've ever seen.
Yeah, disjointed. Completely, right? And I don't want to take this away from FPX.
No, not at all.
They played really well, and they played off with nice composition. Composure. I wanted to say when it comes to the way they approach the game with the morale, it feels like they actually played as a team, which is something you cannot say about Meg here. Completely not playing with the utility that they have. Everything was just kind of separate. Every player was feeling like they have to do F-star play, otherwise the team will not find success. But one thing I wanted to also maybe ask Meg at some point, because FPX played three fractures now in a row when they didn't play Breach. Single-handedly a Killjoy pick could maybe shift this in favor of Meg's the chances of winning this map, right? Because how do you approach the attack when you don't have the breach to destroy the lockdown?
I think he can ask somebody else later if that would have disjointed them. You can probably ask someone else later if that was disjointed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It took me a second. I'm also old.
We need clarity.
Also, I just checked.
Also old, yeah.
Breeze, Shao was on Sova.
We're just
Yeah, but
blind.
Lothar, he previously on Breeze he played that agent. Please believe me.
No, we're just blind. We're just blind. But I do have to announce player of the match now. I feel like he is a he's been here many times before this season, and this time around it is once again. So get to one player I think alongside Leo that everybody's looking forward to seeing at LAN.
I think Doombros very much mentioned it as silent but deadly. Something along those lines. It was very much noticeable. In my eyes, also particularly on the defense on Fracture, it felt a lot like this man was capable of just holding the B side very often, just very passively, very thoughtful, using the right utility at the right time. His Viper pick seemed to be perfect against Mac. And overall, this is really what you need in such a team of FPX, where it's not so much about single individual highlight performances, but absolute consistency.
Well, with that, and speaking of silent and deadly, let's move on into our post-show. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, there you go. I remember the color.
And with the post-show, of course, we have a guest with us. I know Sliggy loves these, so hi, Sliggy. You're welcome. We've got Doombros with us once again to join us for the post-show. Hi, Doombros. Congratulations on the win today. I got to ask you about your heart rate. How was your heart rate throughout the first 2 maps?
I mean, I think you can see under my eyes how much stress I've been under. It's and my unshaven beard. So yeah, it's been a wild week, I would say. But yeah, I'm surviving, I hope.
Yeah, well, we just spoke to Xiao, and he said that he's really proud of what you've managed to achieve, and I know you're really proud of it as well. So how great does it feel, to be able to qualify for a back-to-back LAN event?
Oh, it feels. I don't know. It feels so good. I think we all felt like we should have gone to the first master. So being able to stay, calm and collected and qualify for the next one, 2 in a row is just. I don't know. I'm just freaking happy. I don't want to say a bad word, but yeah, I'm just so proud of us. We had a bit of ups and downs and some funny moments, some haha moments, but. It worked through. I'm just proud of them for sticking it through.
All right, Doombros, congrats again. The amazing fit to be on the LAN. But I wanted to ask, when it comes to the Fracture composition, some in-game stuff, right? Because this is our opportunity to ask those questions.
Here we go.
Right. You played 3 Fractures in a row without a breach. Did you ever feel like, what if the opposing team will actually pick Killjoy? Because everyone else always plays breach because of that threat, right? But not you guys.
I mean, Killjoy on Fracture, I think that was like 20 years ago someone played Killjoy on Fracture, so I'm not... I mean, to be honest, like Omen kind of does the same job as a breach would in terms of a stun, and it brings some more flexibility when you're playing Viper. You can hold with a one-way in halls, right? So that's kind of our thinking. Like we can bring in the fade, we can have a little bit more information and a different play style, but we can also deny some like big areas with the smoke as it was a stun, right? It kind of works the same way. So
you didn't like think that the Killjoy lockdown might be an issue with the aftershock then?
I mean, maybe it was like down in my mind after like the 70 other problems that could come, But I knew what Gambit could bring, right? It's the 3rd map, so like I didn't expect them to change anything. So I was quite confident that our comp countered there. So.
Sorry, Vince. I do want to ask about Mech really quickly, because on the desk we try and kind of break down and speculate what is going on, because this is not the Mech that we know. I'm sure you are aware of it now. You played against them. It's just something is off. What do you think was that issue? What do you think they're not doing correctly?
I think we're having a hard time after the jet nerfs and just deciding on roles. I think it's hard for a jet main like Defo to maybe find his proper role or his proper spot in the team. So I always see them like throwing around roles and trying to figure stuff out and changing comps. So I think that's just the main issue. I think that big patch kind of hurt a lot of teams. And yeah, some teams couldn't adapt quick enough and some others could. So I think that's like the main issue with them,
Curious about one thing. First of all, obviously, congratulations, mate. You made it. Big one. Compositions. Great topic to talk about with you, I would say. You've decided to pick up the Viper once more on that map called Fracture. And I was kind of curious if that was particularly done because you're defender wall has been very B bench, orientated. Was it more of an anti-strat kind of thing, this where you change your composition, or more of a comfort thing where you think that this double controller thing is becoming more and more popular in this map and a lot of people are sleeping on it?
I mean, I think we played Fnatic on that map, I'm not sure, but I mean, I kind of realized that Viper was still good on that map, and I think we lacked a bit of overall map pressure and attack, which Viper is really good at creating, especially some pressure in halls, right? Stuff like this. And also, generally, like, we wanted to play Supan on Race, and it just made more sense to have Sugetsu on Viper. It's kind of the same as playing the Sage, right? So just made sense for a change to be a bit more unpredictable and also having a bit more options to pressure and stoppage power. So yeah, it's just one of those comps. It brings me a lot of joy. So
Lovely. Good you say that.
I have a theory crafting moment for you. So your team in the third map was in a very unique place. I mean, maybe not unique, but a very rare place when you guys are winning a half 10-2 and you win the second pistol round coming in with the score 11-2 into the next round. What do you think is a valid choice in that situation to save fully that round, because you know your opponents have to force every single gun and then go into 11-3 and then fully buy rifles on the next round, because you can almost guarantee a 12 point against inferior hardware from the opponents that forced the previous one?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really cool idea. I think during high pressure moments and high pressure matches like this, you usually tend to default into what you played before and how you usually play, half to half. You don't really watch the score, you're just trying to do the things we practiced on. So I think in that situation, yeah, maybe that call is correct, but during the moment, the players is just focused on what we need to do, and not really so much focused on the score, I would say. But also, we could expect the force buy, right? And we could also try to get some more rifles in the mix and try to exploit the fact that we're going to be with more SMGs. So, I mean, it goes both ways if we want to win it or if we want to play it safe. But I would just say, like, in those moments, especially when you're qualifying for LAN, it's just better to stay simple and just do what you've always been doing and know what works. So yeah.
We can't bring Lothar anywhere. He's coming to be like, you're wrong.
I mean,
why did you do that?
No,
do better. No, I'm kidding.
Lothar almost made us play like stingers in the eco round.
There you go.
That was such a good idea.
There was a call. There was a call when I was asking.
I mean,
you
that's actually good, but it's the same thing. Like Beagles, like sheriffs, like every player loves sheriffs and like they love the headshots. So unfortunately, I couldn't convince the team to do that.
Yeah.
So, I will do better, I promise.
Lothar will never live that down if you do that. I look forward to you guys doing that tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, playoff bracket, it looks very different now. We only have 3 teams left. Mech, they are out. And this sets up to the highly anticipated FPX versus Guild. If you guys at home remember, back in week 4, we had Doom here with us on the post show. And you told us that I'm going to 100% blow this out of proportion, Doom Ross. I'm really sorry about this, but you and Guild, you have beef. They blacklisted you in scrims. They refused to play against you. So how difficult is the preparation going to be for you, given that, like I said, they blacklist you in scrims?
I mean, I guess the goal is to make them blacklist us from officials. I guess that's the goal for tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I love that team. I want to play them so much. Playing some Swedes, like just having some representation from my home country. And I love Safe as a player too. I think it's really smart. So I think it's going to be a banger,
Ooh, I look forward to it. And speaking of bangers, guys, all of the teams are qualified for LAN. It's secured. These 3, FPX, Guild, and Fnatic. Did you guys? I feel like this was the one that everybody kind of thought.
I was wrong. I said Redcar supremacy, if you remember.
Yeah, true. But I feel it's not controversial.
No, not at all.
But I think almost everyone said that it's going to be Fnatic, FPX, and Guild, right?
Yeah.
It feels like we sent the best at this point. I honestly think this is like, for a while, when we considered the circumstances last time, this is like the best 3 teams that we could send, period.
Do you agree, Doom?
I think so.
It's like, well, I agree with, with Guild and Fnatic.
Yeah. I mean, there was a tweet from Mitchman, right, who said FPX, Guild, and Fnatic, if I'm not wrong. So I guess he was right in the end. People doubted him, but he was right. So
You cannot give him confirmation. It's a big mistake you're doing there.
I had a chat with Coda Mentor last week, and he believes that the winner is going to come from EMEA. If these are the 3 teams that go, he's 100% confident that one of you is going to win it. Of course, you're going to think that you guys are going to win it, but if somehow you don't, do you feel like Fnatic and Guild have the chance and what it takes to win it as well?
I mean, if we can't bring our full roster, right, if we bring some subs, then I think Fnatic is clear favorites to take the whole thing. But if we can bring our full roster, then I think we also have a big chance.
Well, we all hope that you are going to be able to bring the full roster.
Yeah, I hope so too. We'll see.
There's one more thing that I'd be personally kind of curious about. Experience, right? Technically speaking, your team doesn't have any offline experience in Valorant. I mean, Angel, of course, is older than...
Might have played some LANs.
Yes, he might have played some LANs.
Yeah.
How do you...
In the last century,
Yeah, just like with Gob. How do you personally rate that aspect with your team? Is that something where you see absolutely no worries, or something where some players need to adapt with that experience?
I mean, it's gonna be my first LAN too, so we'll see. I think with all experience, you just have to go and try it, and then review it and see what you could have done better. So I'm just grateful that we're gonna get this opportunity to practice in a LAN environment and play some games, and I think it's gonna be valuable for the future. But you kind of have to learn by doing it. So yeah, we will see. Maybe we're gods on LAN, maybe we're not.
I'm pretty sure Arlis has played Insomnia and Epic LAN, which is like way more important than any of the other LANs that Angel has played. Trust me.
And Arlis is 3 meters tall, so it's gonna scare everyone, so it's gonna be good.
The buff is definitely real. Thank you very much, Doombros, for joining us. Now, like I said, the 3 teams representing EMEA for Masters has been secured. But if you guys want to find out which NA team will be losing to FPX, Guild, and Fnatic, make sure to tune in later on here on this channel for Exet versus Optic. That is actually going to be a banger. That's a good game. Yeah.
It looks promising. I mean, I don't know those teams.
Very nice lately. So.
Well, they do have the EU buff. They have Def.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been in NA forever, isn't he?
He's one of us, Winston. Come on, he's one of us. Anyway, yeah, make sure you guys tune in to watch North America. We're going to be back here tomorrow with the lower finals between FPX and Guild. Come and join us, and we'll see you then.
Can't stop me now.